Chapter 1420. The Silver Dragon's appearance, especially at this moment, gave Wang Feng an ominous feeling. The silver dragon in front of him was in its true form. It was a huge silver dragon that was thousands of meters long. Just one of the dragon scales on her body was bigger than Wang Feng's entire body. Seeing the silver dragon's true form for the first time, he was a little shocked. It was too big. However, her dragon scales had a faint red luster, adding a tinge of bloodlust to her originally brilliant and beautiful form. Moreover, the endless resentment energy in the central netherworld was still gushing towards this body. She occasionally let out a deep dragon roar, and sometimes shuttled through the clouds like light. She seemed to be enduring some kind of intense pain, and her soul seemed to be trembling. Something has indeed happened. Wang Fengxin's heart sank. The silver dragon's appearance was obviously not right. He recalled what the demon monarchs had said just now. At this moment, several demon monarchs flew over, their faces pale. "Your Holiness, your guess is correct." Basya immediately said, "Demon God Shang has indeed done something in the central netherworld. The current situation is Demon God Shang's 10,000 demons converging origin intent. This is Demon God Shang's signature origin intent." Demon God Shang was a weed beside the reincarnation well when the dark demon world was first born. However, because he was infected by the reincarnation well, he was able to absorb the soul energy of all living things. Later on, he slowly evolved and became stronger. After tens of thousands of years, he finally became a demon god. After becoming a demon god, he combined his abilities and condensed the demon god's origin intent, which is the so-called 10,000 demons converging origin intent, also known as the demon spirit. He used his origin to create and control the demon spirit. His strength is unparalleled in the dark demon world. Basya pointed at the silver dragon in front of him and said in a deep voice, "Demon God Shang probably wants to use the central netherworld. After the war of the gods, many souls of the gods and demons have been infected by the energy here. At the most dangerous moment, he wants to create a powerful demon spirit for him to control." Basya was very clear about the demon god's signature origin intent. The other demon monarchs were also very clear about it. Demon God Shang's main body naturally understands. Why do you need to explain? Wang Feng replied in a deep voice. He actually did not know. However, Demon God Dai was one of the dark demon world's demon gods back then. Demon monarch Basya's words, Wang Feng also understood. When Shang's demon God Shang, he must have discovered the silver dragon world. Naturally, he would not let it go. However, what should he do now? Many demon monarchs were stunned. One of the demon monarchs suddenly said, "So that's how it is. I remember your honor once said that this demon God Shang's demon spirit origin is really trash. It is an origin that needs to rely on external forces. Moreover, the demon spirit created must have absorbed too many dark and mixed souls' resentment. Although it is powerful, your honor can easily break it. I think your honor is naturally not afraid of this so-called demon spirit origin." Wang Feng glanced at the demon lord. "Can you speak?" Demon of God. That was the core of his power. Or is he just bragging? Wang Feng thought it might be true. Otherwise, it could be seen from his old subordinate's admiration for him after so many years. How can Demon God Dai break it? Wang Feng looked at the silver dragon world in front of him, feeling uneasy. Demon God Shang used his own origin intent to drive the countless souls in the central netherworld into the body of the silver dragon world. He wanted to make it into a demon spirit. The so-called demon spirit, in concept, was similar to a death warrior. But that was just a concept. The demon spirit created by the demon god was born with a spirit. Not only did it have high intelligence, but it also had an indestructible body and a soul that could jump out of the cycle of reincarnation. It could also cultivate, but it would only listen to the demon god's orders. It would have the memories of its life, but it would not have emotions. If it was placed in another world, this kind of origin source would be a high-level corpse refining technique. However, as the demon god's origin intent, it was naturally very different. It was very fast and efficient. It was formed perfectly without any side effects. Once formed, it would have a puppet with the same strength as the demon god. And as long as Demon Lord Shang wanted, he could produce them in batches. This was very powerful. It could be considered a Dao. It was not a Dao, but a minor Dao, because there were still some harsh requirements. When it came to the origin intent, it was not so easy to deal with it using ordinary methods. Often, when it came to high-level power battles, it seemed simple, but it was actually very difficult to deal with. For example, in other worlds, some sword Dao holy will, some great Dao technique, some law of force. Often, it might just be an ordinary punch or sword, but it contained the ultimate power of the world. It might seem ordinary, but it was impossible to block it. It was the same for the demon god's origin intent. Did I really say that? Wang Feng decided to test again to see if he could find out what Demon God Dai had said before. Of course, I remember it very clearly. The Demon Lord looked proud. At that time, I was only a small captain in the Demon Emperor army. At that time, your honor was about to lead us to conquer a medium-level plane. Originally, Demon God Shang had his eyes on that plane, but your honor directly intercepted it and said that Demon God Shang was too weak at that time. He had just become a demon god and was not suitable to go to such a plane. Just like how we talked about how trashy Demon God Shang was before we set off. At that time, I still remember clearly. It's just a demon spirit origin. If I have a complete origin, I can destroy it with a flick of my finger. Even if I don't, I only need to use the power of the world's Tao of heaven to frighten it out. Not to mention destroying it. I can even severely injure it. This method of relying on external objects to become stronger is just a minor Tao, not worth mentioning at all. The Demon Lord spoke vividly, as if to show just how much he revered the demon god and how deeply he remembered him. He wished he could say it word by word. Even the pauses in his tone were very particular. After listening, Wang Feng understood. I didn't expect you to remember it so clearly. Wang Feng looked at him with a performance expression. The Demon Lord's expression immediately became excited. Of course, your honor's grace and spirit are still engraved in the depths of my soul, even now, and they have never disappeared in the slightest. All these years, every time I encountered difficulties, I would think of your honor's scenes in the past, and I would be filled with strength. Too much. So much praise. The other demon lords looked at this demon lord with disdain. Your honor, look, this demon spirit seems to be moving. It seems like it wants to go somewhere else. Demon Lord Ba Xia suddenly said. At this time, the silver dragon moved. Its huge body suddenly turned and moved in another direction. In a chapter. Chapter 1421. It should be an order from Demon God Shang. Wang Feng said indifferently. It seems that Demon God Shang's motive for using the central netherworld and this dragon to create a demon spirit is not simple. Perhaps it has something to do with the origin star core. Speaking up to here, Wang Feng glanced at the demon monarch, and his tone was as arrogant as a general's. Since you said those words back then this sovereign will let you see how this sovereign breaks his source energy with a flick of his finger. Let's go. Follow me. Moreover, Demon God Shang must have sensed your presence. Since he doesn't care, let's settle our old scores together. After saying that, Wang Feng immediately chased after the Silver Dragon King. The rest of the demon monarchs followed closely with excitement. Demon God Shang looked around. There were endless tombstones. This was a real cemetery. In the Void Domain, there was only one true cemetery, and that was the blood tomb of the buried gods. After the God Realm Committee was established, this place was a cemetery built in the Void Element territory to bury the gods who had caused great damage to the God Realm, betrayed the God Realm, or harmed the interests of the God Realm. They would all be buried here. The Divine Realm Committee was not bad. They wanted to bury the gods who no longer belonged to the Divine Realm so that they could reincarnate and have an afterlife. One must know that the God Realm had its own unique reincarnation system. The gods could not die in the Divine Realm, but it did not mean that they could not die. They could travel the universe and go to other worlds. If they were not careful, they could die. Once the gods of the divine realm died in other worlds, if they could not rest in peace, even if their souls returned to the divine realm, they could not enter reincarnation. Only when they were buried and their souls returned to the divine realm, they could enter reincarnation. Normally, the divine realm would find the bodies of the gods who had died and bring them back to the divine realm to be buried. Then, their souls would enter reincarnation. In the next life, the gods would have a good life and would have a good start. Of course, only the gods recognized by the divine realm could enjoy such treatment. Even if the gods were not recognized by the divine realm, they were still creatures from the divine realm. Once they died, the divine realm committee would be merciful and find their bodies. However, they would only bury them in the blood tomb of the gods in the void domain. The void element sky domain was not a good place. After being buried here, their souls would enter the cycle of reincarnation. It would be hard to say what would happen in their next life. More often than not, they would be isolated from the system of the god realm, reincarnated into some extremely weak world, and become other living beings. It was hard to say whether they could become mortals or not. This was the system of the god realm. Tang-san, you said that we can find the origin star core here? Tang-san, who was beside Shang Demon God, slowly said, "You should know what the consequences of lying to me are. You, Tang-san, are a man of your word. For the sake of your wife and unborn son, you are willing to reveal the true secret of the origin star core, which means you are a smart god. I'm also a man of my word. As long as I find them, I'll definitely let you go. But in this place, do you think I'm stupid? How could there be an origin source star core in such a place?" Tang-san glanced at him from the corner of his eyes and said blandly, "Why wouldn't it be possible? Your dark devil world controls the star core origin, so you should know what is closest to the star core origin. It's reincarnation. The star core origin is the core that supports the operation of the god realm. Not only does it control the order of the world, but it also controls the reincarnation of all the other worlds in the god realm. Not only our god realm, but the reincarnation system of other unknown worlds in the universe is also closely related to this power. Their names may be different, but the meaning is the same. Your dark devil world also has the reincarnation well, right? Then do you know what's on the other side of the reincarnation well? The souls of your dark devil world can only have a chance of reincarnation if they enter the reincarnation well. Why is that? Because only when the souls enter the reincarnation well and enter the star core origin, the star core origin will change them, and the heavenly Tao will calculate that they can reincarnate to their next life. Therefore, the reincarnation well is the channel closest to the origin star core." Tang-san said word by word. Shang Demon God held his breath. It was indeed very reasonable. He vaguely understood something because he grew up next to the reincarnation well. The god burial blood tomb in the void element region is the place closest to the origin star core. Tang-san looked at the ancient and desolate tombstones in the distance. Most of these fallen gods did not belong to the god realm, but the god realm was merciful to them. It gave them a chance of reincarnation. As long as they are buried here, their souls can enter the origin star core through this place and be reincarnated to other worlds. Therefore, you only need to bury a god who has obtained the god realm to open the special channel in the tomb and find the origin star core. Tang-san said slowly. Also, this god must be strong enough because this place is not a place where anyone can be buried. It must also be related to the god realm. If it's not related, the channel will not open and will disappear after being buried. Moreover, this place is the only place that can open the origin star core. The internal tombs of the god realm will not open the channel because the gods who have been recognized by the god realm committee can enter reincarnation directly if they are buried in the tombs of the god realm. Only the gods who have been expelled from the god realm can enter the origin star core. Their divine souls need to enter the origin star core, and their aura of the god world will be completely erased. Then, they will enter the cycle of reincarnation. That way, when they enter the cycle of reincarnation, there will be no trace of the god world in their next life. When they go to other worlds, they will become the most ordinary life form, or even worse. Demon God Shang knew that the reincarnation system of the god realm was different from the Dark Devil world. He did not expect it to be so complicated. The only channel to open the Origin Star core was in this place. With your strength, you must have found it already? Tang Sen asked. He had told Demon God Shang the same thing 3 days ago. Of course. I'm just reminding you not to lie to me, Demon God Shang said indifferently. Tang San remained silent. What he said was true. It's just that. Let's wait a little longer. Demon God Shang's expression suddenly changed and he exclaimed, These dregs are still alive? Interesting. Since they dare to follow me. Could it be that they want to ruin my plan? With their cognitive level, it's impossible for them to see through the problem of the forbidden divine wall. Could it be that there are other demon gods secretly helping them? Could it be that little bitch? Demon God Shang muttered to himself. His expression kept changing and he sneered. That's right. Among the 9 great demon gods, only a bitch like you is still thinking about that idiot DE. If you secretly help them, these demon monarchs will be able to escape from the death trap I set. Unfortunately, Tang San was as still as a mountain, as if he could not hear what Demon God Shang said. Next to him, Xiao Wu lay quietly in his arms, clutching the front of Tang San's shirt tightly, not saying a word. The couple would occasionally look at each other, as if they were discussing something with their eyes. At this moment, a huge dragon silhouette appeared in the distant clouds. It's here. Demon God Shang smiled calmly. Tang San, take a look and see if it's suitable. Tang San fixed his eyes and was slightly stunned. It's the silver dragon? Didn't she disappear long ago? Why is she here? How did you find her? Ha ha. You don't need to know how I found her. Just tell me if it's suitable or not. As far as I know, these dragons were also members of your divine world. Later on, there was a war. Unfortunately, they became gods. They're the gods that were abandoned by your divine world, right? Unfortunately, if that dragon god had won back then, the ones buried here right now would be you gods. Oh no, if the dragon god had won, Tang San, you wouldn't even be able to become a god, let alone a god king. You mortals might become the human slaves of the dragon god clan. Demon God Shang seemed to be a bit sarcastic. As he spoke, he could not stop laughing. From this point of view, the rules of your divine world are not much worse than the means of our dark demon world. Tang San did not seem to hear the latter part of his words. He just spat out 2 words and said, suitable. That's good. Can the Honorable Azura God King help me later? Demon God Shang's eyes flashed with a trace of cunning. The demonic Emperor army attacked your divine world's king city. It's a disgrace to your divine world. Coincidentally, a group of demon monarchs from the demonic Emperor army came here. How about I give you some face? Although you're seriously injured now, you should be able to kill these demon monarchs. How about I pretend that I didn't see anything and let you kill them to vent your anger? Tang San looked at Demon God Shang. What a cunning Demon God Shang. He was the God King of the divine world. It was reasonable for him to accept it. However, this was just Demon God Shang's way of killing with a borrowed knife. He still wanted to be Demon God Shang's knife. Thinking of this, Tang San did not get angry. Instead, he laughed. Wait. At this moment, Demon God Shang seemed to have seen something. He frowned, which was rare. Why do I see a familiar figure? At that time, suddenly, Tang San clearly saw Demon God Shang's expression change greatly. His fist-sized eyes suddenly widened. Emperor? End of chapter. Chapter 1422. It was Tang San's first time hearing such a big change in the demon god's expression and voice. Die. Tang San was stunned. Wasn't that the dark angel god of the divine world? He had been dead for God knows how many years. Tang San looked in the direction that Demon God Shang was looking at. His heart skipped a beat. Third brother, who is that? Xiao Wu tugged at Tang San's sleeve, only to find that Tang San was stunned. A demonic figure appeared in the sky. Xiao Wu could tell at a glance that it was a demon god. It was too easy to identify a demon god. That supreme demeanor, that cold and inflexible appearance, that stalwart body, and that aura of power that could affect the laws of the world. Even a mortal would be able to tell at a glance that there was something special about him. It was just like the divine king. Moreover, the demonic figure in the sky was even more special. It was emitting an even more unique aura. It was a contradictory aura that was a mixture of darkness and light. It was vaguely familiar. "Is that demon god Dai?" Xiao Wu exclaimed. "Hasn't he been dead for many years?" Yes. This sentence had been hovering in demon god Shang's mind. He could not help but take 2 steps back. Impossible! Demon god Shang wanted to rub his eyes. However, he knew that a demon god's perception would not be wrong. Even if he rubbed his eyes into powder, they would still be there. How can Dai still be alive? Demon god Shang's expression began to change. Anger, unwillingness, and many other twisted expressions appeared on his face. Seeing this, Tang San was secretly amazed. Trouble comes one after another. This demon god Shang has yet to be dealt with, and this demon god Dai, who has been dead for countless years, has actually appeared. It's hard to tell if it's real or fake. Tang Sen communicated with Xiao Wu with his eyes. He knew that the appearance of this demon god Dai would only put them in more danger. Moreover, whether it was real or not, Tang Sen had a feeling that the appearance of demon god Dai would cause an unimaginable wave in the dark demon world and the divine world. He looked at the cemetery on the other side. In the history of the divine world, the body of devil god Dai was buried here by the joint efforts of several divine kings. Kill him. You dare to act like a demon in front of me? Demon god Shang's eyes suddenly emitted an ink-colored brilliance. In the next moment, the silver dragon let out a loud dragon roar. Its huge body struggled unconsciously in the air for a while. Then, a huge amount of soul power burst out from its body. Its resentment was like a sea as it attacked Wang Feng with countless remnant souls. The many demon lords on the horizon watched with bated breath. I wonder how his honor will deal with this. After not seeing you for so many years, why haven't you, Shang Mingyang, improved at all? At the very least, he should catch up with his true self first. How could he attack a demon god so impulsively? Shang Mingyang, why are you still so inexperienced? How did you become the lord of the demonic army? Wang Feng did not panic when he saw this. First, he opened his mouth. Then, purple patterns appeared on his body. Behind him, 14 pairs of black and gold shadows seemed to overlap, adding to his demonic power. Since obtaining the indestructible origin, Wang Feng's avatar's body had undergone some changes. The essence of the change was that the angel of light and dark martial soul would not hide like before. Instead, it had merged with the indestructible origin into his body. It had materialized. In other words, he no longer had the angel of light and dark martial soul because it had merged with his avatar. He was the angel of light and dark martial soul. Therefore, after awakening the indestructible origin, Wang Feng's avatar had undergone obvious changes. It was not wrong to say that he was a demon god. However, he was not a demon god. His current body was more like a mixture of different things. This was because he had grown by absorbing the immortal spiritual energy of the realm of the gods. However, the angel of light and dark martial soul carried the power of demon god Dai. In addition, the second divine ring was condensed by many demon lords. Therefore, after merging with the angel of light and dark martial soul, his form was very similar to demon god Dai. Of course, there were still differences. No matter what, this body could be considered to have taken a new path. Look at your origin. After so many years, you haven't improved much. Wang Feng looked at the silver dragon that was attacking him. He suddenly stretched out 2 fingers and pointed to the sky. Heavenly thunder punishment. Dark judgment. Rumble. In an instant, the gloomy sky let out a sharp howl. The originally gloomy sky was now filled with thunderclouds. The pitch-black thunderbolts seemed to represent the will of another world. They penetrated the void of the universe and landed in this world. Dense thunderbolts fell from the boundless sky for more than 500,000 kilometers around, striking the Silver Dragon King's body like raindrops. The black thunderbolts were extremely strange. Although they carried an extremely dark aura, they seemed to be able to cleanse everything in the world and judge all living beings. The huge area of lightning even fell in the tomb and struck demon god Shang's surroundings, causing his body to tremble. The demon blood in his body surged, and he felt a bit scared. This is not the origin energy of demon god Dai. Although it is somewhat similar, it is completely different. Demon god Shang's eyes were filled with fear. He looked at the silver dragon that was being bombarded by the endless black thunderbolts. Under the baptism of the black thunderbolts, the blood-red dragon scales on its huge body were completely shed. The resentment of the countless remnant souls that had been refined by him quickly disappeared under the black thunderbolts. In just a few breaths, the 1,000-meter-long silver dragon had returned to its normal state. This meant that the origin energy of demon god Shang's demon spirit had been completely destroyed. This can't be Dai. Demon god Shang's eyes were gloomy. Although he did not spend too much time refining this demon spirit, he was already strong enough. However, the Silver Dragon King was powerful enough. Moreover, after the Battle of Gods in the central netherworld, a large number of resentful remnant souls had gathered. He could use the origin energy to create a perfect demon spirit that was comparable to a demon god. Although it was to open the passage to the origin star core according to Tang San's words, it could also increase his strength. After all, the original body of the Silver Dragon was too rare. He did not expect that it would be destroyed right after it was created. He did not suffer any losses. He only lost a little origin energy. He just needed to recuperate for a while. However, Demon God Shang was a little shocked. None of the other 8 demon gods in the dark demon world could destroy his demon spirit origin so easily. Yes, demon god Dai did boast that he could destroy his demon spirit origin with a snap of his fingers. However, he did not believe it at all. Unexpectedly, Wang Feng looked at the silver dragon and flew over to ride on her back. He gently stroked the dragon's scales and sensed her current condition. "Who are you?" Wang Feng sensed a strong sense of enmity. Wang Feng remained silent and did not answer. The silver dragon's condition was much better than expected. End of chapter. Chapter 1423. She might have just arrived in the void dimension, and the energy here was not as strong as in the god world. The silver dragon quickly absorbed the energy and wanted to suppress the desire brought by the dragon god's essence blood. Unfortunately, the energy here was too violent, and it was harder to absorb and control than the immortal chi in the god world. Instead, it triggered the desire. Fortunately, the silver dragon was still a silver dragon. Its mind power was extraordinary, so it could barely suppress the desire. It was very likely that it met Shang Demon God at this time, and Shang Demon God used the desire of the silver dragon to absorb the countless remnant souls in the central netherworld. It could be cultivated into a perfect demon spirit. With Shang Demon God's own origin power, the silver dragon's strength skyrocketed, and in that state, its strength was infinitely close to a god king. Wang Feng thought about what Shang Demon God Dai had boasted before, and with Dai's intelligence, he definitely knew how to break it. He knew where his power came from. It came from Shang Demon God King. Using Shang Demon God King's origin power of judgment, he could directly break Shang Demon God's demon spirit origin. Shang Demon God's origin was a minor Dao, and Shang Demon God King's 7 origins were all Daos. Furthermore, the demonic spirit origin needed to rely on the body to absorb other special external forces. For example, many of the remnant souls in places like the central netherworld were restrained by the judgment. Furthermore, the Silver Dragon King had just become a demonic spirit. Those remnant souls had not been completely absorbed and were not stable. Wang Feng was already over level 90, with 2 divine rings, and his awakened origin power had been greatly strengthened, so he was naturally extraordinary. But even so, that move just now had consumed half of Wang Feng's divine power, which was not easy. "I am Shang Demon God Dai." Wang Feng sensed it and said lightly, "You are the silver dragon formed by the dragon god's 2 origins, right? To be frank, I saved your life this time." Shang Demon God used his origin to refine you into a demon spirit, and after a long time, the dragon god's origin hidden in your body will be taken by him, and you will become a muddle-headed demon spirit under his control. I could have killed you just now, but I didn't. Do you know why? Because you are Wang Feng. Wang Fengxin cursed in his heart. "F***, what's going on?" He had never told the Silver Dragon King about his identity as Dai Devil God. Back in the evil demon forest, the Silver Dragon had asked him how he killed those soul demons without a sound. Wang Feng did not say anything. Why did she seem to understand something the moment she opened her mouth? If it was origin power of origin power, it was hard to say. Wang Feng did not remember using judgment origin in front of the Silver Dragon King. Even if he did it, that was in the soul world. Wang to be used origins God Shang judgment to Wang to Shang heaven judgment soul. This senior is not Wang Feng, but that brat Wang Feng has told this senior about you, Wang Feng said without batting an eyelid. He was once a genius that this senior valued in the lower realms. To me, he is a descendant who has inherited my power. So do you understand? Oh, the Silver Dragon replied indifferently, as if she believed it, but also as if she did not. So that's how it is. All right, you've absorbed the power of those remnant souls in the central netherworld. Those remnant souls are mostly the divine souls of the gods and the devil souls of the soul demons in the divine world. Just now, I've broken the origin that Shang Devil God had attached to your soul, but there's still some remnant soul power left. If you can absorb it, your strength will rise to another level. Since you have come to the divine world, that kid should be here soon. It will be beneficial for him if you become stronger. Wang Feng's gaze fell on Shang Demon God in the distance. As for me, I will go and catch up with him. After saying that, Wang Feng slowly walked toward Shang Demon God in the distance. The silver dragon floated in the air, her silver eyes like snow, staring at the figure. No one knew what she was thinking. I will never forget this scene for the rest of my life. Standing not far behind Wang Feng, the demon lord was both excited and agitated when he saw this. Shang Demon God is scared. He is scared. Brothers, look, Shang Demon God. Now, what is he going to do? By the way, where's this place? Why did Shang Demon God bring God King Tang San here? What is he going to do? The silver dragon listened to the words of these demon monarchs and thought, is he really Dai Demon God? These demon monarchs can't be fake. He was a genuine soul demon. Where's Wang Feng now? The divine world should have been conquered by the demon emperor army. The silver dragon felt that the situation was very complicated as she thought about it. She and Wang Feng had entered the passage together. They were originally in the soul domain of Wang Feng's soul ring. But when they were about to pass through the passage, they were shaken out by a strong spatial force and lost contact with Wang Feng. And they came to this place. She was no stranger to the void battleground. The dragon god had fallen here, and his origin had turned into her. There was no other life in this place, but she found many traces of the demon emperor army. She knew that the divine world was very dangerous, so she didn't go to the divine world at first, but chose to cultivate here. Later, when she met Shang Demon God, the silver dragon knew that the divine world was not only dangerous, but must have been conquered by the dark demon world. She wanted to go to the divine world to find Wang Feng, but how could Shang Demon God let her escape? Later, she was controlled by Shang Demon God to absorb the power of the remnant souls in the central netherworld, and then became a demon spirit. She lost control of her body, but her consciousness was still clear, and her soul became stronger. She was completely controlled by Shang Demon God. Now, Wang Feng walked down from the sky and walked towards Shang Demon God. Shang Demon God subconsciously took a few steps back, but he was a little angry, as if he hated his natural fear. 123 Book Net, he forced himself to be calm, and looked at Wang Feng with a natural smile on his face. I didn't expect you to be alive, Dai. This is really a blessing for the dark demon world. But you also know that when I first saw you, I felt that you were really strange, so I attacked you. Just now, I was just testing you. I definitely didn't mean to attack you. In the dark demon world, we can't kill people of the same race, especially demon gods killing each other. That's a big taboo. Now it seems that Dai is really you. Shang Demon God's few words directly pushed away what happened just now. Even the performance just now was like a passing cloud, as if nothing had happened. Tang San and Xiao Wu looked at each other. These demon gods were not only powerful, but they were also old monsters who had lived for God knows how many years. They were obviously acting like that just now, but now it was as if nothing had happened. A second ago, they were angrily trying to kill him. The next second, they were smiling and talking about old times. Big taboo? Wang Feng was surprised. There's such a rule in the Dark Demon world? Who made it? I remember that the rule in the Dark Demon world is that the strong preys on the weak, right? Of course it's Yama, Shang Demon God said with a smile. Why? You don't remember her? Wang Feng smiled silently, which made Shang Demon God unable to understand. So, don't blame me for what happened just now. Shang Demon God sighed. I had no choice but to attack you. After all, there were too many rascals who pretended to be Demon God Dai. They didn't think about who Dai is. He's the supreme demon god whose name shakes the entire dark demon world. Is he someone who anyone can pretend to be? Wang Fengxin said. This demon god Shang was indeed something. With these words, not only did he completely disregard what had just happened, he might even have guessed that Demon God Dai had brought 30 demon monarchs here to cause trouble, making it difficult for him to say it out loud. Really? Then it's fine. Wang Feng also smiled. New rules, new atmosphere. I haven't returned for so many years, and the dark demon world is developing better and better. This is a good thing. However, Shang Mingyang, your strength is really not enough. You weren't the weakest of the 9 demon gods back then. Why is it that after so many years, your strength is still so low? This won't do. With your strength, if you walk out of the dark demon world, it will be very miserable. Who doesn't know how to act cool? This daddy has been talking for so many years, and I'm not inferior to anyone. Sure enough, Shang Demon God's expression changed when he heard this. Shang Demon God couldn't help but speculate. Could it be that Demon God didn't die after all these years, and instead went to another world and became stronger? No wonder his strength was so strange. It was completely different from the past, but far stronger. Thinking of this, the fear in Shang Demon God's heart grew. Then I've really embarrassed our dark demon world. Shang Mingyang said with a face of shame. It's fine, it's fine. Wang Feng waved his hand magnanimously. Since I'm back, you demon gods have a role model. As long as I'm here, you demon gods will become stronger. Hearing this, Shang Mingyang's mouth twitched. UF***er. Damn it, after so many years, this Dai's arrogance really hasn't changed at all. Shang Mingyang was very angry, but he knew that this wasn't the time to be angry. By the way, I'm here to ask about the king city of the divine world. What do you think? Wang Feng said indifferently. You want to kill my old subordinates? Did they do something that broke the military rules in the demon god army? Or did they do your concubines in private and F***ked your daughter? Did you have to spend so much effort to kill them? Shang Mingyang's forehead twitched. This tone, it was definitely Dai. To be able to say these vulgar words so casually and arrogantly, only Dai was able to do so. However, Shang Demon God had already expected this. He frowned and said, Dai, what are you talking about? Your old subordinates. I've always loved them. When have I ever thought of killing them? Oh, then there's the fake news of the Divine World's Origin Star Core in the Forbidden Region Divine Wall. You want them to open that level of protective wall? Not to kill them, but to let them obtain the Origin Star Core? It's not the Origin Star Core, but something terrifying enough to destroy them. Wang Feng continued to ask, What do you mean? Shang Demon God was surprised. Fake news? I didn't fake news. Dai, don't frame me as soon as you come back. Although I'm not as strong as you, I can't let you slander me like this. Yes, I slandered you. What do you want? Wang Feng said indifferently. Shang Mingyang choked. However, he quickly looked at Tang San and said, Dai, the news of the Forbidden Region Divine Wall was told to me by deity King Tang San. Oh, I understand now. Shang Demon God looked enlightened. He looked at Tang San angrily and said, Tang San, you used fake news to kill my demon god army. What a vicious idea. Dai, the news of the Forbidden Region Divine Wall was told to me by deity King Tang San. I didn't expect this. Sai, I'm sorry. Tang San thought that Shang Mingyang was really shameless. Is that so? Wang Feng smiled and said, I see. I won't blame you anymore. Shang demon god was startled. When did Dai become so easy to talk to? Since you didn't do it, just hand over deity King Tang, San to me. I'll find trouble with him. As for you, you can go back to the dark demon world. Wang Feng showed his ferocious fangs. Demon god Shang was startled by this. F***CK. He didn't come to punish him. His target was deity King Tang San, the real origin star core. Thinking of this, Shang demon god broke out in a cold sweat. He almost fell into Dai's trap. But now that things had come to this point, he was at a complete disadvantage no matter what. Chapter 1424. Give or not? Demon god Shang was in a dilemma. The origin star core of the divine world was of great importance. If he handed over Tang San, it would mean that he would have no contribution in this divine war. If he didn't give it to him, the other party was Di. Moreover, Di was in the right. Even if this matter was brought to the dark demon world, he would be the one at a disadvantage. Demon god Shang looked around and seemed to have thought of something. His eyes gradually became clear. That won't do. Demon god Shang seemed to have thought of something. The smile on his face returned to normal. Deity King Tang San is an extremely important deity. This lord is under the order of Yama, lord to bring him back to the dark demon world. Di, if you want to find trouble with Tang San, you have to go back to the dark demon world first. After getting the order from Yama Lord, I can hand Tang San over to you. Wang Feng thought to himself. This demon god Shang was really difficult to deal with. Could it be that he saw something? You think this lord needs the order from Yama Lord? Wang Feng looked at demon god Shang coldly. Shang Mingyang, this lord is talking nicely because you are one of the 9 great demon gods of the dark demon world. Otherwise, don't blame this lord for taking action. In this place, even if I can't kill you, this lord can still cripple you. Do you believe me? Also, this lord has just returned. I don't know the new rules of the dark demon world. Do you think this lord will follow them? If the soft approach didn't work, then he could only use the hard approach. Of course, Wang Feng couldn't let Shang demon god bring Tang San back to the dark demon world. In the past, demon god Dai was arrogant and didn't put the other demon gods in his eyes. Now that he said that, it would only make Shang demon god more convinced. It was normal to fall out with each other in the dark demon world. Shang demon god's expression didn't change. No one could see any emotion on his face. He just said indifferently, then come and try it. Di, do you know what era it is now? Do you really think this lord is afraid of you? After saying that, Shang demon god Shang took a few steps back. You can break my demon spirit origin. Do you really think this is all I have? Dia, open your eyes and take a good look at where this is. Demon god Shang laughed loudly, following which his entire body dissipated in the air. Only a black dragon-like deicide ridge was left, emitting a lustrous radiance in midair. Countless black light spots suddenly flew out from the tip of the deicide ridge. They fell like rain and scattered toward the 4-year-old. Demon summoning Nether. Wake up, all of you. Without a trace, a majestic shout exploded in this graveyard of the gods. Rumble. The earth seemed to be shaking. As the black dots of light landed in the graveyard, countless dark, mottled graveyards let out shrill howls that seemed to come from the netherworld. Tang San, who was at the side, was instantly shocked. Oh no, Tang San looked embarrassed. This demon god Shang is so ruthless. He actually came up with such an idea. Third brother, what's going on? Xiaowu looked around in surprise as she asked in a low voice. This place is the god burial blood tomb. Many powerful gods were buried here. Although they were abandoned by the heavenly realm for various reasons, their strength was undeniable. Their divine souls entered the origin star core, but their divine bodies were still buried here and had not dissipated for generations. Tang San's eyes were gloomy. These divine bodies are very powerful, but the heavenly realm will not make use of them. We have always adhered to the principle that the dead are the most important. Moreover, because their divine souls were found by the heavenly realm, they could finally rest in peace and would not have too much resentment. These divine bodies would eventually merge with this land. It could also be considered to be able to change this extremely unstable small plane. But this demon Godshang wants to use his origin power to awaken these divine bodies to deal with Di, who came back from the dead. No, speaking of which, Di's corpse should have been buried here. Based on the years, it might not have been decomposed yet. Tang Sen looked at the black ridge. Demon Godshang had already disappeared into the air. But at this moment, the ground had begun to crack. Countless divine bodies began to climb up from the depths of the graveyard. Demon Godshang's origin power has this ability in itself. It can give the living or the dead powerful energy. Previously, he controlled the silver dragon to create demon spirits. But when he wanted to control these divine bodies, although these divine bodies do not have consciousness and souls, and their strength is far less powerful than the silver dragons, and they're not true demon spirits, the number is too large. Moreover, interfering with the divine bodies of the dead is against the harmony of the heavens. Tang San sighed. Unfortunately, Demon Godshang is a demon god. The world rules of this small plane cannot restrict him. If he dares to do this in the heavenly realm, it will definitely alarm the heavenly realm's lightning tribulation. Even if he does not die, he will lose a layer of skin. Tang Sen looked at the graveyard. Although most of the gods in this graveyard are not related to the heavenly realm, there are still living beings born in the heavenly realm. This is troublesome. It is indeed troublesome. Wang Feng also felt that it was somewhat troublesome. Demon gods were indeed not easy to deal with. He did not expect that Demon Godshang's origin power could be used like this. It was not only used to create demon spirits. Supreme One. The 30 demon lords descended from the sky, sweating profusely. The situation is not good. Demon Monarch Ba Xia looked down at the densely packed bodies of gods that had crawled out of the graveyard. This graveyard is too old. There are countless gods buried here, and none of them are weak. Even if they don't have divine souls, their bodies are still powerful. More importantly, there are too many of them. Demon God Shang alone wouldn't be able to control so many divine bodies, Demon God Shang said. Demon Lord Ba Xia glanced at Little Noodles and shuddered. But Demon God Shang's God-slaying ridge is the most advanced God-slaying ridge in our dark demon world. It has the highest level of hypercore processing, which allows Demon God Shang to control his origin power and unleash 200% or even 300% of his spirit to control so many divine bodies. Wang Feng remained silent. He sensed a powerful aura. Since these gods were buried here, they naturally would not be weak. The weakest of them were gods with divine thrones. If they did not even have divine thrones, the heavenly realm would not even bother to find their divine bodies and souls. Moreover, they had been here for countless years and had a very long history in the heavenly realm. Looking down from the sky, one could see divine bodies of various shapes and sizes crawling out of the ground like ants. Then they flew up like locusts. Without divine souls, many of these divine bodies had lost their abilities. However, their bodies were still very powerful. Now that they were awakened and given new abilities by Demon God Shang, it was equivalent to creating a new army. Unfortunately, it was only a one-time thing. However, even if it was a one-time thing, it would still be difficult to deal with them. Unless we gather our army, we will barely be able to resist them. This place is too ingenious. It is perfect for Demon God Shang to unleash his extraordinary abilities. Demon Lord Ba Xia's words were overstated. Chapter 1425. These godly bodies were not afraid of death and had no awareness. Driven by Shang demon god's origin, they could only kill instinctively. Moreover, it was difficult to destroy these godly bodies directly. Only demon gods could destroy them. But how many could Wang Feng destroy alone? There were simply too many of them to count down there. The history of the heavenly realm was too long. There were too many generations of each god's inheritance. The reason why the number of gods in the heavenly realm was not very high was that many gods left the heavenly realm after inheriting the position of God. In fact, the number of gods in the heavenly realm was not less than the dark demon realm. An army force like the Imperial Demon Army had tens of thousands of demon monarchs. Each of them was comparable to a third-level or first-level god in the heavenly realm. But how could there be so little fighting power in the heavenly realm? For example, Tang San had led the heavenly realm for decades, but the total number of gods with deity positions was less than 4 digits. The reason was that the heavenly realm had a system of inheriting deity positions. After inheriting the deity position, the gods left the heavenly realm to live a carefree life without any restrictions. In fact, in the history of the heavenly realm, the number of gods with deity positions was more than the dark demon realm. Otherwise, the dark demon realm would not have started the war against the heavenly realm only now. Unfortunately, the heavenly realm did not prepare for danger in times of peace. This system of inheriting deity positions was more like borrowing chickens to hatch eggs. Gods were hatched one after another, but the chickens that were hatched were not kept alive. Therefore, the number of godly bodies in the graveyard was very large. From this, it could be seen that the heavenly realm was more powerful than the dark demon realm. Unfortunately, Wang Fengxin sighed softly. Many of the systems in the heavenly realm were too backward. Little 3 had probably been influenced by Sui Xiong. Over the years, he had developed many new god positions and nurtured many new gods. Otherwise, the number of gods with deity positions in the heavenly realm would probably be less than 100. There might not even be one. For example, there might only be 10 or 21st level gods, but it was still not enough. The backward system of the heavenly realm made the heavenly realm, which should have been powerful enough, look too weak. The number of gods was related to the number of planes that the heavenly realm belonged to. The more gods there were, the more planar worlds they could control. The more planes and worlds they controlled, the more the power of faith they fed back to the god realm would be converted into god-level immortal energy, making the god realm even more powerful. It was a virtuous cycle. Wang Feng vaguely remembered that in the original work, the heavenly realm was not strong. A space-time turbulence in the universe could blow the heavenly realm away. That might be the reason. This wasn't because the god realm was weak, but because it hadn't developed well. For example, the Deity Realm Committee only had 5 deity kings and 5 deity kings. Although these 5 god kings were formed from the divine world's creation god source energy, it was as if the divine world could only have these 5 god kings. How could they become stronger? The positions were all locked. Even if someone with the potential of a divine king, like Tang San, directly inherited it. This was great. The previous god king had directly left. How could the divine realm not be weak now that it had lost a powerful fighting force? From a number of the demonic emperor army, one could see how powerful the dark devil realm had become. If it wasn't for the fact that the god realm had some foundation and a powerful source star core, the god realm might have been long gone. Could this be the reason why demon god Dai fell into the dark devil realm back then? Wang Feng suddenly thought. His mind raced. Back then, demon god Dai was a first-level god in the god realm. It could be said that he had reached the upper limit. But obviously, he wasn't qualified to inherit the position of god king, because there were only 5. But would he be convinced? One had to know that the dark angel god was formed from the source tribulation deity king's source energy. To put it bluntly, Dai should have inherited part of the source tribulation deity king's strength back then, but he couldn't become a god king. Would he be willing to stay in the god realm? Perhaps this is the reason why many gods in the god realm want to leave the god realm. They can't be promoted and their strength can't be improved. They can only travel the universe to find other great paths. Wang Feng thought of many problems in the god realm. For a moment, he was in a daze, and many demonic emperors were anxious. At this moment, a burst of wild laughter suddenly rang out from the void. Dai, since you are so familiar with this tomb, you should know that you were buried here back then, right? Although I don't know how you came back from the dead, I didn't expect to find your body. This means that you really died back then, but how did you come back to life? According to Tang San's words, your divine soul entered the origin core of the god realm and should have erased your memory and reincarnated. Maybe you became a beast in the mortal world. What method did you use to come back to life? Demon God Shang's words woke Wang Feng up. The body of Demon God Dai? Look at this demonic body of yours. See if it's still your original appearance. Familiar, right? Do you miss it? How does it feel to be attacked by your own body? Demon God Shang's voice came from the void. Wang Feng saw an abnormally bright, divine body with 7 pairs of broken black wings on its back. It floated in the distant sky. Seeing this, Wang Feng's eyes narrowed. F***, it's really the body of Demon God Dai. It really looks like him. Wang Fengxin was really shocked. The body of Demon God Dai in the distance was similar to his in size and appearance. However, because it had been buried in the ground for many years, its skin was dark and there was no body shape. Its eyes had lost its divine soul and had no light. However, Wang Feng could vaguely feel a trace of connection from this demonic body just by standing there. The other party was exuding an unparalleled aura that transcended the heavens and the earth. Demon God Dai had become a demon god and had the strength of a divine king. After being buried, this body was also a demon god's body. It was probably one of the most powerful demon gods in the tomb. At this moment, the demonic bodies that blotted out the sky and covered the earth began to crazily rush towards Wang Feng. Destroy! Wang Feng's eyes did not change. He held the elemental origin in his hand, as if he was holding the sun. Any demon god Dai that got close to him quickly melted into the tiniest energy and dissipated between heaven and earth. This scene looked extremely strange. However, using the elemental origin consumed too much energy, and the recovery speed of his divine power could not keep up. In addition, using the judgment origin consumed too much energy. If this continued, he would not be able to hold on for long. If this was the divine realm, it would be fine. Wang Feng could quickly absorb the divine realm's immortal qi and barely hold on. However, the energy in this realm was too chaotic and violent. There was no benefit in absorbing it by force. That supplementary reply. You guys go first. Wang Feng glanced at the 30 demon lords behind him and frowned. Go back to the divine realm and wait for orders. There's no need to stay here. Take that silver dragon and divine King Tang San away. Now is the time. Tang San must know about the Origin Star Core. As long as he's here, we can find the real Origin Star Core. I have my own way here. Your Holiness. The 30 demon lords immediately became restless. They were all as if they had been injected with chicken blood and were unwilling to leave. Old subordinates who could directly offer their faith to Demon God Dai as soon as they saw him were very loyal. Go! Wang Feng shouted coldly. You guys are useless here. The 30 demon lords immediately walked toward Tang San. Interesting. Tang San chuckled at the sight of this. To think that such a powerful demonic body could break through the natural order and meld it down. Looks like this demon god Dai has become even stronger. He did not resist. Instead, he patted Xiao Wu's shoulder. Let's go. Let's leave this place with these demon lords first. Leave? Is it that easy? Dai, you seem to be very strong now, but in reality, you're just strong in appearance. This sovereign does not believe that your Origin Star Core will not consume your god power. This sovereign felt that it was strange. If you were really that strong, you would have taken the initiative to attack instead of waiting for me to attack. Unfortunately, you only attacked to break my demon spirit Origin Star Core. You want to make me fear you first, right? I thought that you'd become stronger. In reality, I can see that you're very strong now. However, I'm sure that you haven't been revived for long. Even if you've become stronger, you've definitely not fully recovered. This sovereign can see that. Otherwise, it's impossible for you to not have any strength to fight back now. Your Origin Star Core can easily break down these god bodies. You're really amazing. Unfortunately, there are countless god bodies in this place. Let's see how many you can break down. Shang Mingyang was indeed a demon god of the dark demon world. His eyes were indeed shrewd. After awakening the god burial blood tomb, he immediately reacted. He was indeed right. Wang Feng was only over level 90. He could exchange a few blows with a demon god. However, if he wanted to be directly comparable to a demon god, especially the demon gods of this era, they were completely different from the ones in the past. The god kings from 10,000 years ago were also different from the god kings now. He was over level 90. His foundation was too weak. It was impossible for him to defeat a demon god, let alone a demon god who had the god-slaying ridge. However, end of chapter. Chapter 1426. It was impossible to deal with the current demon god Shang without doing something out of the ordinary. However, Wang Feng had never taken an ordinary path to come here. Wang Feng closed his eyes. He had once comprehended that the elemental origin was not only used for decomposition. The origin tribulation divine king's elemental origin represented the essential elements of all things in the world and was not just a simple attribute. Any non-illusory world matter could be made up of countless elements. Decomposition was only Wang Feng's initial use of the elemental origin. Just like demon god Shang's devil spirit origin, it could create a powerful devil spirit, but it could also be used to control a divine body without a divine soul. The application of the origin was complicated and varied. Wang Feng held a source of light that resembled the sun in his hand. It emitted a bright and deep light. The corpses around him were like a sea. Waves seemed to have formed in the air as countless divine bodies swarmed over. Those powerful divine bodies emitted unparalleled power. Wang Feng's gaze fell on demon god Shang's deicide ridge. Without it, demon god Shang would not have reached such a level. It would be good enough if he could control 1/5 of the divine bodies here. However, with this deicide ridge, demon god Shang's origin power could be maximized. This deicide ridge was indeed very powerful. Deicide. Do you have any information on demon god level deicide ridges in your database? Wang Feng suddenly asked. Every deicide ridge is unique because it was created by the host. Every soul demon will only receive a primitive deicide ridge in the beginning because it was created by the host himself. Then, the host will slowly create and nurture this deicide ridge. It is the same for demon gods. In my database, there is only information on the materials needed to create a deicide ridge, Deicide answered. That's a pity. Wang Feng was not disappointed. Not only could the elements be decomposed, they could also be created. However, creation was more complicated and difficult than decomposition. If Wang Feng knew the detailed structure of the deicide ridge and the specific materials, he might be able to use the elemental origin to create an identical deicide ridge. A demon god level deicide ridge. Even if it was only half similar, it would definitely affect demon god Shang's current performance. It'd be much easier. However, it was clear that the Dark Demon Realm's research on the deicide ridge was extremely terrifying. This thing was not mass-produced, and each one of them was unique. This was indeed impressive. This was equivalent to giving everyone the most primitive intelligence, and then letting them upgrade and nurture it. Wang Feng was a little familiar with this. This was not just one or two, but the entire Dark Devil world. It was time to add this system. The more powerful the God-slaying ridge was, the more beneficial it would be to him. Look at the system of the Dark Devil world. Looking at the system of the Heavenly Realm, it was a complete beatdown. No wonder he lost so miserably. Even if this method didn't work, Wang Feng still had another method. He looked at the most unique few among the tens of thousands of devilish bodies. His gaze locked onto Demon God Dai's body. This is the body of the Dai demon god. Many years ago, he was also the Dark Angel God, and also my original Dark Angel martial soul. Now that I control the immortal source, my body has evolved and become stronger, and I have merged with the light and darkness martial spirit. Perhaps I can try to control this body. Locking his gaze, Wang Feng's soul shook. He remained where he was and sent a wave of mental energy directly to Dai demon god's body. He wanted to seek some sort of response. Suddenly, Wang Fengxin was slightly shocked. F***CK, there's really a response. Wang Feng was shocked. He had indeed sensed it. Without any hesitation, Wang Feng rushed toward Dai demon god's body. Like a meteorite crashing into the void, countless godly bodies shattered, and the energy in Wang Feng's body was consumed again. Think carefully. Wang Feng didn't know why the body of Dai Demon God, who had been dead for countless years, could actually sense him. Wang Feng guessed that it might be because of his martial soul. After all, his angel of light and darkness martial soul originally came from Dai Demon God. No, my martial soul doesn't seem to come from Dai Demon God. It comes from a system. Wang Feng looked at Dai Demon God, who was getting closer and closer, and a bolt of lightning flashed in the depths of his mind. He actually still had a trump card, which was the system's card. However, the system only gave the location every time. In fact, it hid many conditions. Even if he went to the location, it seemed that he had to trigger some kind of medium to appear. Wang Feng had already found the pattern. Therefore, Wang Feng couldn't leave no matter what. Finally, Wang Feng flew to Dai Demon God's side amidst the waves of countless godly bodies. That feeling was even clearer. At this moment, Dai Demon God's body suddenly emitted a bright light. It dispersed the endless godly bodies around him. An ancient voice that seemed to have been separated by countless years sounded in Wang Feng's ears. "You're finally here. You're finally here. I've been waiting for you for countless years." He really didn't break his promise, and he really found it. "Since you're here, my remnant soul can rest in peace. Since you can wake me up at this time, you must have also reached that step and are looking for that supreme treasure, right? Good, this is great. I've really done it. Ha ha, ha ha ha. Look carefully, this is the last step." This voice was extremely mysterious, and Wang Feng felt that it was somewhat familiar. Could it be that it's the real Dai Demon God? Wang Fengxian was shocked and quickly asked in his mind, "Who are you?" But there was no answer. It was as if that voice had never appeared. Or was it just a remnant thought left by Dai Demon God countless years ago? But then, in the next moment, a dark shadow suddenly flew out from Dai Demon God's body and cut through the sky. It was like the wind, like a cloud, and like a mist. "Open." There seemed to be a voice that came from the void. "Dai, what tricks are you playing?" Shang Demon God, who had turned into the void, seemed to have noticed something strange and said coldly, "I've seen through you. If you still have any tricks up your sleeve, you would have used them long ago. I advise you to leave as soon as possible, lest you perish here after being resurrected with great difficulty." Wang Feng didn't feel anything and just watched the black shadow explode in the void. In an instant, the space shattered, and a beam of divine light came down from the 9 heavens. This beam of divine light was as bright and beautiful as the Milky Way, and like a piece of silk inlaid with countless stars, it reached the clouds. "This is the Star Soul Road. Impossible." Tang San, who was below, almost blurted out, "Star Soul Road. Isn't that the passage to the origin star core?" Xiao Wu, who was next to him, said blankly. She occasionally heard Tang San mention this word. Tang San frowned deeply, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. "Divine King Tang San, what do you mean?" Many demon monarchs heard Tang San's words and immediately came to their senses. They shouted, "What is that? What's going on?" Tang San didn't say anything. Chapter 1427. He had told Shang Demon God that the only way to find the origin source star core was to sacrifice a god here. It had to be a god that had been banished from the god realm. After burying the god's soul would enter the origin source star core, and a passage would open. That was the only way to find the origin source star core. In fact, the method was correct. However, Tang San deliberately left out some details. He was the Azura deity king of the god realm. He could not just hand over the origin source star core, the supreme object that was related to the fate of the god realm, to a demon god. That was absolutely impossible. Moreover, the origin source star core had never appeared in the history of the god realm. It did not exist in the god realm. It was more like a symbol. Even the deity kings could not find it. Legend had it that after the god of creation created the god realm, he created 5 origin source seeds that turned into lives. They were the origins that the 5 deity kings controlled now. They were the starting point of the god realm and controlled the order of the god realm. However, That was only the order. The origin source star core that the god of creation left behind in the god realm was the one that controlled the rules of the god realm. It was also known as the god of creation source. The god realm had such a history, but Tang San had never found it, nor had the other deity kings. The reason was simple. The condition was correct. However, the god that had to be sacrificed had to have the strength of a deity king to open the passage. Only the god soul of a deity king was qualified to enter the origin source star core and remove the aura of the god realm, which was the 5 origins of the god realm. Moreover, it had to be a deity king that had betrayed the god realm. In fact, the possibility of a deity king dying in the god realm, let alone betraying the god realm, was too small. Even if a deity king had died, it would be difficult to find him because he was a deity king. Therefore, it was impossible to fulfill this condition. I have always neglected a point. Tang San seemed to have thought of something. Back then, demon god Dai died and was buried here. He was a deity king. Logically speaking, he met the condition to open this star soul road, finding the origin source star core, but according to the history of the god realm, this did not happen at all. Strange. Back then, the god realm was curious. Now that I think about it, could it be that demon god Dai was not dead? Otherwise, his godly soul will definitely disturb the origin star core and open the star soul path. Tang San looked at the Dai demon god in midair. Then why is the star soul road open now? Xiao Wu said blankly. That's impossible. Could it be that demon god Dai's divine soul has only truly dissipated now? Who is that Dai devil god in the sky? It couldn't be that he had sacrificed his own soul again, right? He didn't die and wasn't buried here. I don't know. That's why I said it's impossible. Tang San clenched his fists. This is unbelievable. I can't figure it out. Tang San was not the only one who could not figure it out. Shang Demon God was dumbfounded as well. The Star Soul Road shone on Wang Feng. Even if he used his but to think, he knew that this was definitely the passage to the origin star core. It was open just like that. Who opened it? How did he open it? Didn't they say that they had to bury a god who had betrayed the divine realm in order to open the passageway? Tang San lied to me? At this moment, Shang Demon God was in an extremely bad mood. No, even if he lied to me, what's going on with Dai? When the Star Soul Road appeared, Wang Feng followed it and went straight up to the 9 heavens as though he was shuttling through the void. At this moment, countless god bodies seemed to have broken free from Shang Demon God's control. Shang Demon God even noticed that these god bodies seemed to have an instinctive desire for the Star Soul Road. They wanted to fly up. However, the countless god bodies were isolated outside the passageway that was as dazzling as the Milky Way. F***CK. What's going on? Shang Demon God appeared in the sky and landed on top of the deicide ridge. He looked at Dai's disappearing figure. The uneasiness in his heart grew bigger. Not good, not good. What the hell is Dai doing? Shang Demon God looked at Dai's back and couldn't see through him. He felt as though his whole body was being strangled and he couldn't breathe. In fact, only Wang Feng could vaguely guess what was going on. When he looked at the passageway, he had a premonition that this passageway led to the origin star core. However, Wang Feng didn't understand the conditions for opening this passageway. However, based on the analysis of the 2 voices in his mind just now, this passageway must be opened by the real Dai, and it was opened by the remnant soul he left in Dai's body. Could this be a trap set by Dai? Wang Feng looked at the endless starry sky road. Wang Feng could only think so. A trap that spanned countless years. Back then, Dai already had great strength and status in the dark demon world. But why did he come to the divine world alone? Wang Feng recalled. According to the history of the Dai devil god, wasn't this strange? For the soul demons in the dark demon world, they thought that Dai came to the divine world alone because he was arrogant and proud. Revenge? It seemed to make sense, but in fact, was it really so? Also, why was Dai ambushed by several divine kings in the divine world and killed? Perhaps Dai came to the divine world alone because he wanted to find the origin star core? No, Wang Feng suddenly thought that Dai might have known about the existence of the origin star core before he fell into the dark demon world. So, he wanted to get the origin star core. But how could he find it? Wang Feng didn't know what conditions the divine world had to meet to find the origin star core, but it was definitely in conflict with several divine kings. Therefore, Dai went to the dark demon world and obtained greater strength. Then, he wanted to return to the divine world to find the origin star core. Then, why did he want to get the origin star core? If so, I'll think about it from the beginning to the end. Wang Feng vaguely understood something. Back then, Dai couldn't become stronger because he was dissatisfied with the system of the divine world, but he couldn't change himself. He accidentally learned about the origin star core and knew that if he wanted to change the system of the divine world, he had to get the origin star core to change the divine world. So, he fell into the dark demon world and obtained greater strength with the rules of the dark demon world. Then, he returned to the divine world to find the origin star core. But his scheme was discovered by the divine king at that time. So, before Dai Demon God returned to the divine world, he secretly set up an ambush. At the last moment of his life, Dai Demon God secretly set up a trap, so that countless years later, the descendants who inherited his strength could open this passage and find the real origin star core. At this moment, although there was no evidence, just based on his deduction, Wang Feng seemed to have found part of the truth of the matter. This was actually not difficult to deduce, but it needed to be combined with many details, the system and situation of the divine world, as well as the changes over the years. Now that he thought about it carefully, Wang Feng was more and more convinced that this was definitely part of the truth. But there were still some doubts. For example, how could Dai be sure that the descendants who inherited his strength would definitely follow his ideas? But now, Wang Feng was curious about what this origin star core was. He was also curious about whether it could really change the rules of the divine world. As if an infinite amount of time had passed, this star soul road also came to an end. Before he could understand his surroundings, a familiar notification sounded in Wang Feng's mind. End of this chapter. Chapter 1428. Ding. Congratulations to the host. You have obtained the method to use the Genesis Divinity Source. The next time you check in, the Dark Demon World, the Reincarnation Well. This place is very dangerous. Host, please consider your own strength and do not barge in. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences. The system's voice rang out. Logically speaking, the number of words that the system's voice had spoken since it first appeared was probably less than 1,000 words. However, Wang Feng still remembered it clearly. The method to use the Genesis Divinity Source. Wang Feng was stunned. The Genesis Divinity Source? Could it be the origin star core? The method to use it? Was there a requirement to use it? After all, the origin of this thing was not simple. Those divine kings might not be able to use it. System, what is the method to use it? Wang Feng asked. You will know after you obtain it. Very good. Wang Feng looked at the star soul road. The surroundings seemed to have become the star path. It was like an illusion, but it was also very real. The road could not be seen. He could only feel it with his own body. After entering the light pillar, Wang Feng found it difficult to sense other life forces. He seemed to have come to another independent space. There was no divine body around. He could not see Devil God Shang or Tang San. The origin star core should be something powerful, right? Wang Feng took a deep breath. Looking at the Star Soul Road, he found that his body could move. He then moved forward. In just a moment, the surroundings began to change. The starry sky shattered. Wang Feng seemed to see the universe. Taking a step forward, Wang Feng seemed to have crossed the universe. His vision was dim, as if he was in chaos. Urgently, the light dispersed, and a vague shadow flashed past. The world seemed to become clear. 5 kinds of shining light emitted a lustrous radiance in this world that had just been created from primordial chaos. That radiance contained rich life force dripping onto this world. After who knew how many years had passed, 5 streaks of life were born. Wang Feng came back to his senses. He was slightly stunned. This when the divine world was first formed. Wang Fengxian was slightly shocked. The five lights should be the original source of the five divine kings. They controlled the order of the divine world. This road seemed to not only lead to the origin star core, but also the divine world. That's not right, according to the five divine kings. How come I don't see Origin Tribulation God King? I remember that he should have been born around this time. No, he should have been born even earlier. That Origin Tribulation deity, King, seems to be on the same level as the Creator God who created the divine realm. Furthermore, he is a life form born from the universe's origin. Wang Feng looked around, trying to find Tribulation Origin God King, who had been here when the God world was first created by the path. But he couldn't find it. Then, the five beings turned into five human figures and began to cultivate in this world. There was no end, no time. After the birth of the five connate life forms formed by the five essences, many other life forms began to appear in this world. What happened next was basically the beginning of the God realm's development and evolution. In this era, the God realm wasn't doing well. These five Xiantian life forms were all future God kings of Douluo. However, now that they were born, no one was willing to submit to the other. Representing the most auspicious and peaceful life essence was a ball of green light. In the beginning, it had transformed into an ancient tree that stood guard at the center of the God realm. After countless years, this ancient tree had turned into a human figure. It was the goddess of life, also known as the God King of life. Then, there was the purple light representing destruction. At first, it was just a ball of light that floated in the God realm, absorbing the destructive aura of the God realm. Then it flew to the ancient tree of life and was attracted by its aura. Those should be the two God Kings of destruction and life. According to the Imperial Demon Army's introduction, these two God Kings seem to be the main forces sent by the God Realm Committee to the Void Battlefield. Among them are the two new God Kings of good and evil. Wang Feng looked at this world. When the God Realm was first born, it was boundless, but Wang Feng seemed to be able to see everything in this path. In fact, in the beginning, destruction and life were opposites. These two hadn't become husband and wife yet. Moreover, at the beginning of cultivation, as the number of life forms in the God Realm increased, destruction, who was the coldest and most violent, started to wage war in the God Realm. This caused the God Realm to be in a situation where countless life forms fought each other. The God Realm was filled with the aura of destruction. The five God Kings were the connate life forms of the God Realm. They were born with great power. They controlled the order of the God Realm. Almost no life form could compete with them. This should be the beginning of the history of the God Realm. Wang Fengxian was slightly shocked. He watched the history of the God Realm as if he was watching a movie. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, countless years had passed. Wang Feng judged the age based on the number of life forms in the God Realm and the speed of reproduction. The number of life forms in the God Realm increased exponentially. The five connate life forms each controlled a region. After countless years, they had tens of thousands of fans. They also cultivated many experts. However, in Wang Feng's opinion, these experts were only at the level of a level 3 god. They couldn't be very strong, because this was the beginning of the God Realm. The five God Kings hadn't become God Kings yet. During this period, no one was willing to submit to another. This led to the outbreak of war in the God Realm. The life forms of various races fought back and forth for an endless period of time. The ancient history of the God Realm was presented to Wang Feng in an extremely clear image. So this was the beginning of the God Realm. Wang Feng sighed for a long time. Then some time passed. Wang Feng saw countless life forms die, and be born. In the end, the war stopped, because at this time, a figure that Wang Feng had never seen before appeared in the God Realm. He flew in from outer space and landed in the God Realm. And this figure was somewhat familiar to Wang Feng. It's the Origin Tribulation God King. Wang Fengxian trembled. The Origin Tribulation God King had appeared in the God Realm at this time. Wang Feng couldn't see the Origin Tribulation God King's appearance clearly. His body was covered in light shadows, more like a ball of scorching light. He looked down at the god realm, seemingly saddened by the broken state of the god realm. Then, he wandered among the 5 god kings and defeated them with his tyrannical strength. Even the 5 Khanate life forms couldn't withstand a single blow from the Origin Tribulation God King. Moreover, Wang Feng could clearly feel the Origin Tribulation God King's 7 great essences. They were very strong. The Origin Tribulation God King now should have the strength of a true God King. He might even have surpassed it. All the evil, destruction, and auras of the God realm. The Origin Tribulation God King resolved all of them with a single lightning punishment. It was as if he had surpassed the God realm's eternity in the heavenly Tao. All the lives that were affected by the war were restored to their original state with a single strike of the Origin Tribulation God King. It was as if he had used a cheat code. His body was strong and indestructible. Even the 5 Khanate life forms couldn't hurt him. He used the elemental essences to create countless mountains and rivers for the God realm. He created countless plants and everything that life in the world needed. At the same time, he used the elemental essences to heal the hidden wounds left by the war. It was as if he was renovating the God realm. He made the world look more beautiful than before the war. Incredible, Wang Feng sighed. The Origin Tribulation God King's use of the elemental essences had reached the pinnacle. He could create anything in the God realm. He could also destroy anything except the 5 Khanate life forms. Chapter 1429. Then, he brought the 5 Sciention life forms to the universe and used the Devour Origin. He made them watch as he devoured a scorching planet. It took him a lot of time to digest and replenish it. Then, he sprayed it on the divine world. The scorching planet became extremely warm and finally turned into a light source buried in the ground. It was then that Wang Feng felt the energy of the divine world began to change. Awesome! Wang Feng was dumbfounded. That scorching planet should be a star similar to the sun, right? Is this the Devour Origin? I love it. The energy of the divine world changed, and the number of life forms increased. Countless years passed in the blink of an eye. The 5 Sciention life forms stopped fighting under Origin Tribulation deity, King's means, and became peaceful. It was also during this period of time that kindness and evil, destruction and life, the 2 pairs of god kings of opposite sexes, had their first love. As for Azura deity king, he was still single. From the first civil war between the 5 deity kings to the appearance of Origin Tribulation deity king and the formation of the Divine World Committee, Wang Feng calculated that it had been tens of thousands of years. Wang Feng's heart trembled as he watched. Because there was too much information in his mind, Wang Feng's mental power couldn't support it. Not to mention other things. Just the Origin Tribulation deity king's use of the Origin Tribulation deity king gave Wang Feng a lot of insights. After that, one day, the passageway to the God realm was opened, and countless creatures of different races descended from the passageway into this world like locusts. It's the soul demons. TSK, looks like the dark demon world has been coveting the divine world for a long time. With a single glance, Wang Feng knew who these foreign beings were. Yes, they were the soul demons of the dark demon world. This was the first time the divine world was invaded. Panic and uneasiness appeared on the faces of most of the divine world's life forms. Moreover, the dark demon world seemed to be much stronger than the divine world. The 5 Sciention life forms had already become deity kings, but they were still in the early stages and weren't familiar with the Origin Tribulation. It was very difficult to fight against the dark demon world, because there were more than 5 demon gods in the dark demon world, and each of them was much stronger. Oh my, isn't that demon god Shang? Wang Feng saw a familiar figure in this period of history. It was devil god Shang. However, Shang wasn't a demon god yet, but a greater soul demon of the dark demon realm. In this war, this dog was extremely valiant and killed many gods of the god realm. Besides, the more he killed, the more he could absorb the souls of the gods and refine them into corpses. In a short period of time, he could fight as well as a group of soul demons. Very impressive. However, This method infuriated the Origin Calamity, Supreme Being. He immediately used the devouring Origin to devour Shang's spiritual world. It was extremely terrifying. The Origin Tribulation God King's devouring Origin source could devour any kind of energy. Even his spirit and soul were no exception. Back then, Shang Demon God was scared out of his wits, but there were also two demon gods from Dark Demon World that fought against Origin Tribulation Deity King. Unfortunately, they were no match for Tribulation Origin God King. One was dead and the other injured. In the end, the invasion ended with the defeat of the Dark Devil World. It was also because of this battle that countless living beings in the deity world realized that the deity world was not safe. They needed to be united in order to become stronger. For this reason, the Deity World Committee was established. Although the Deity World system was backward, the Deity World Committee had united the deity world in this era. It could be said that it had laid the foundation for the deity world's growth. However, the number of living beings in the deity world was increasing day by day, and the deity world's energy was insufficient to support the increasing number of living beings. It was also at this time that the Origin Tribulation Supreme Being used the Void Origin Source to open a passage to another world for the deity world. King City was built in the deity world with 5 great god kings guarding it. With the Origin Tribulation Supreme Being's Void Origin Source as the foundation and the buried energy source that Origin Tribulation Supreme Being had devoured as the goal, the Deity World Committee built the deity world's Void Origin Source. The 5 great god kings sent countless powerhouses to these realms. They used gentle means to spread the power of the deity world and absorb the faith from the Devata realms to provide energy to the deity world. This was the complete body of the Deity World Committee after it was established. Since then, the deity world has become stronger, Wang Feng murmured. That's right. The deity world had become stronger. The entire world had become stronger. The deity world's energy source was connected to the deity world's void origin source. It absorbed the faith from countless realms, causing the energy of the deity world to become stronger. The celestial spirit energy was the foundation of the deity world. The 5 great god kings grew stronger rapidly. In this era, many powerhouses were born in the deity world. This should be the most glorious era of the deity world. Since he could see it clearly, the scene was automatically imprinted in his mind. The number of powerhouses in the deity world increased rapidly in this era. First grade gods were inferior to dogs. In just tens of thousands of years, the deity world had reached its peak. Unfortunately, the Dark Devil realm came to invade the deity world again. However, this time around, the Dark Devil realm was directly beaten up in an inhumane manner. Moreover, Shang Demon God had also become an ultimate grade soul demon. He was not far from becoming a demon god. Unfortunately, he was beaten into a pulp by several first-grade gods and almost died here. The war did not last long before the Dark Devil realm fled with their tails between their legs. This was the most prosperous era of the deity world. Wang Feng saw countless first-grade gods. There were even quite a number of experts who possessed the strength of a god king. However, it was a pity that these experts did not possess the strength of a god king. However, they were all peerless geniuses. They were only peak first-grade gods and could not become god kings. Thus, a problem arose. After reaching the peak of the deity world, there was no path ahead. What should they do? The 5 great god kings could not solve the problem. They did not have the ability to solve it. At this time, Origin Tribulation God King had long stopped caring about worldly affairs. After establishing the Temple of Faith, Origin Tribulation God King had not appeared again. He had been hiding for countless years. It was like he had retired after accomplishing something. Then, things got interesting. After many years, the number of first-grade gods increased. However, they still could not become god kings. In other words, the strength of the deity world limited their cultivation. The first-grade gods, who had endless lifespan, felt fear, anger, and unwillingness in this endless cultivation. Countless negative emotions. In this era, they filled the entire deity world. The scene of this era was very messy. There was civil strife, madness, and peace. However, Wang Feng could roughly see it. Many first-grade gods began to leave. They were like old women selling melons, looking for successors in various planes. Then, they left the deity world and went to other places in the universe in search of the great Tao. These gods are probably the source of the buried god's blood tomb, right? Wang Feng sighed softly. After that, the 5 god kings had no choice but to find Origin Tribulation God King and ask him if he could change the deity world. Origin Tribulation God King did not answer. However, he seemed to know about the Origin Star Core. He directly split the void and stepped on the Star Soul Road. It seemed that he wanted to find the Origin Star Core that controlled the deity world's laws. He came to the end of the Star Soul Road. However, this scene disappeared in a flash. Wang Feng did not see anything. Then, Origin Tribulation God King disappeared. He turned into 16 rays of light and fell into the deity world. The 2 most powerful rays of light, black and gold, turned into 2 powerful beings. The other 14 rays turned into beings 1 level weaker than them. These 2 powerful life forms were surrounded by 7 other life forms, as if they were fans. He died. Wang Fengxin was shocked. Origin Tribulation God King died after finding the Origin Star Core? Then what happened? In a chapter. Chapter 1430. Wang Feng didn't know what happened to the Origin Star Core after the Origin Tribulation deity King passed through the Star Soul Road. What he saw now was a blur. He couldn't see it clearly at all. But after the fall of the Origin Tribulation deity King, the realm of the gods didn't change at all. The 16 rays of light that the Origin Tribulation deity King split into represented 16 different powers. 7 plus 1, they surrounded the 2 most powerful beings. Wang Feng guessed that these 2 beings were the Dark Angel God and the Light Angel God. One of them was naturally the 90-degree Emperor. The Origin Tribulation deity King didn't change anything. There were still only 5 deity kings in the realm of the gods. Most first-tier gods would choose to leave the realm of the gods after reaching the peak. His fall didn't cause any waves in the realm of the gods. Only the 5 deity kings sighed. At that time, most of the gods in the realm of the gods didn't know about the Origin Tribulation deity King and what happened. They only knew that there were a few more gods in the realm of the gods. It was then that the realm of the gods began to weaken. Then came the war between the Dragon God and the 5 deity kings, which opened a new chapter in the history of the realm of the gods. History was just like what Wang Feng knew. It was presented on this Star Spirit Road. From the beginning of the realm of the gods to the present, Wang Feng knew it very clearly. After looking at it, the road seemed to have come to an end. It seemed to be the end of the starry sky. Wang Feng stood in the middle of a golden ocean. The ocean reflected the world, shining brightly. At the center, endless light covered the scene around Wang Feng's eyes. As his pupils shrank, his vision gradually became clear. Wang Feng saw a silhouette. To be precise, it was a woman. It was amazing. The woman carried Wang Feng on her back, standing in the middle of the golden ocean. The sky was also golden. She was wearing a plain white dress, and it was hard to tell what style it was. There were many stripes on the dress, and each stripe seemed to be engraved with the direction of heaven and earth. There was also a bright moon-like halo on the back, making her look like a fairy who had walked down from the moon palace. Although he couldn't see her face, Wang Feng could feel a terrifying aura from the woman. Are you kidding me? This Origin Source Star Core is actually a woman. Moreover, I feel that this figure is somewhat familiar. Wang Feng found it unbelievable. For a moment, Wang Feng was hesitating. He didn't understand the situation at all. After so many years, Wang Feng's experience could be considered rich. But now he was wavering. After thinking about it, what was there to be afraid of? Wasn't this just a clone? Thinking of this, Wang Feng was about to step forward. But at this moment, the system's voice suddenly sounded in Wang Feng's mind. Attention! I'll give the host 3 hints. First, when you entered the Star Spirit Road, it was an examination. Only by obtaining the other party's approval. Only you can use the Genesis source. Secondly, Do not look at the Genesis divine source with normal standards. It is not pure energy. Instead, it was a life form. It was a life form that transcended beyond the God realm and existed in an independent universe. Thirdly, in the host mind, there is a term called licking dog. Remember, you can't be a licking dog. Notification complete. I wish the host a successful pass. This system will go into hibernation and will only appear when the host checks in again. After the system's voice ended, it was as if it had disappeared without a trace. Wang Feng was momentarily stunned. In fact, he had vaguely guessed something. The Star Soul Road was the history of the God world. Why did he have to show him the history of the God world? And it was presented so clearly. The system's notification made Wang Feng comprehend something in the dark. However, Wang Feng felt that the system's last notification was absolutely superfluous. What a joke. How could I, Wang Feng, be a licking dog? However, when the woman turned around, Wang Fengxin was shocked and almost couldn't control himself. CK, fast-eyed, one-third the woman in front of him, simply using any words to describe her, was incomparably pale. This was a kind of beauty that transcended the dimension of life. This kind of beauty was not purely reflected on the appearance. It was a kind of charm, a kind of Dao. It was as if it could make any life that saw this kind of beauty be immersed in it and unable to extricate themselves. This is no longer beauty in terms of appearance. It's a beauty that transcends intelligent life. No world that I know of should be able to give birth to such a life. Chaos life. The word perfect is not enough to describe 10 or 20% of it. Wang Feng was shocked. He knew that this kind of beauty was innate and naturally emitted by the other party. Moreover, this kind of beauty gave people the attraction of appreciation and obsession. Looking at it from afar, it would not cause people to have any dirty thoughts. But it was this kind of obsession that Wang Feng almost couldn't control himself. No wonder the system would give such a notification. A test, Wang Feng muttered inwardly. It was a test. Wang Feng knew that this was the other party's home ground. Even if this woman wasn't the Genesis divinity source, she must be inextricably linked. Then, Wang Feng must not lose in terms of aura. I didn't expect it to be you. Wang Feng thought for a long time and decided to use one sentence to get back at her. Sure enough, when the woman heard this, she was stunned for a second. There was a hint of surprise in her eyes. You know, her every move seemed to affect the changes in the world. Of course, Wang Feng said indifferently, since I'm here, I naturally know. Logically speaking, Wang Feng wasn't good at other things. He was best at pretending. When he saw the other party's back just now, he felt a sense of familiarity. This premonition came from the premonition of the riddle. It didn't come out of thin air. Then, it meant that he must have seen this woman before. No, the other party's level was too high. Perhaps he had seen her aura before. Moreover, it was in the Douluo world, because Wang Feng hadn't been in the divine realm for long. Strange. The woman spat out 2 words softly. In my expectation, you would come here, but it's impossible for you to recognize me. Were you tricking me just now? Of course not. Wang Feng recalled this sense of familiarity in his mind, and his mind quickly calculated, filtering through one figure after another. Then tell me, who am I? The woman said calmly. Silence. If you can't say it and want to use this clumsy method to attract the Genesis divinity source, then you may end up like the origin tribulation divine king you saw. Wang Feng. Wang Feng snorted coldly, not afraid of this woman, but slowly said, What if I say who you are? If you say it, then, child, you're very special. The woman smiled sweetly, and the surrounding golden sea surged with waves, as if she was excited. Wang Feng walked a little closer and observed the woman at a close distance. She seemed to be fearless. With the system's prompt, Wang Feng knew that he must not be afraid. Once he was afraid, the consequences would be unimaginable. The closer he got, the more the charm of the other party's beauty was suffocating, until Wang Feng walked to the side. You are very bold. The smile on the woman's face disappeared, and the world seemed to fall into darkness. An aura of death assaulted Wang Feng's face as it surged over from all directions like tide water, seeming to want to swallow Wang Feng up completely. Chapter 1431. Shi, we're old friends. Isn't it inappropriate to attack as soon as we meet? Is this your real body? It does look good. As soon as he finished speaking, light returned to the world, and the surroundings were still the same golden ocean. Wang Feng was still standing on the calm surface of the ocean, facing the woman. Everything was calm. The woman was silent for a long time before finally speaking. How did you find out? It's completely different. How did you connect me to her? Holy shit. Wang Feng heaved a sigh of relief in his heart, cold sweat trickling down his back. He was King, right? No, it wasn't completely a guess. At least, Wang Feng had analyzed it. In addition, there was a sense of familiarity. Shi is the Douluo of the Martial Spirit Federation. Ever since Wang Feng knew about this Douluo, he realized that this person was too awesome, too powerful, too heaven-defying, and too mysterious. From her martial spirit to everything else, she was extremely terrifying. It could be said that after waking up, he went to the Douluo world. Douluo was the only person Wang Feng couldn't see through. Coupled with the familiarity brought about by the word before, Wang Feng could only guess that this woman should be Shi. Furthermore, Shi might just be her clone or a strand of divine will. To me, nothing is impossible. Wang Feng naturally couldn't tell the truth. He was half-guessing and half-guessing. Now that he thought about it, Wang Fengxian broke out in cold sweat. Could it be that he had already been noticed by the Genesis God Source at that time? Sigh, it seems that I'm too outstanding. Wang Fengxian thought. Shi was silent for a long time before speaking again. Did you use the knowledge of your world? Many of your abilities are very special. It doesn't seem like you only came from one world. Wang Fengxian's heart tightened. CK. Could it be that she knew that he had transmigrated? But to be honest, if she really was the Genesis God Source and controlled the laws of the God world, then everything that happened in the plane of the God world probably couldn't escape her eyes. One had to know that the Genesis God Source controlled the reincarnation of the God world. Similarly, the reincarnation of the other worlds of the God world was also controlled by her. Then, when his soul transmigrated, he would definitely pass through the Genesis God Source. It wasn't surprising that the other party had discovered it. After all, he had transmigrated from another world that did not belong to the God realm system. Since that was the case, Wang Feng did not try to hide anything. He said straightforwardly, "Since you've discovered it, then I won't hide it from you. I've traveled through the myriad of worlds and worked in the Universe God Nation's World Unification and Maintenance Department. My job is to investigate the various small and big worlds in the universe that have yet to be incorporated into the God Nation. After that, I found your realm to be rather interesting, so I temporarily put aside my other identity and came here to take a look." Bragging and tricking people were Wang Feng's best skills. It was obvious that Shi was stunned once again, and she frowned and thought for a long time. Why have I never heard of such a department in the Universe God Nation? Shi frowned. Are you trying to trick me? What? CK. From what you're saying, could it be that there really is one? Wang Fengxian almost blurted out in shock. Fortunately, Wang Feng had cultivated his qi cultivation for 10,000 years. Without any change in his expression, he said, "The Universe God Nation is huge. The department I am in is the most mysterious department. You are not qualified to know about it yet." In terms of bragging, Wang Feng was not inferior to anyone. In any case, he definitely could not back down. If the other party was really the Genesis God Source, then even the Origin Calamity God King would fall directly. If they fought head-on, even if Wang Feng became the real Origin Calamity God King, his chances of winning were not high. Unless his main body and avatar were cultivated to the extreme and fused into one, reaching the highest level, then there might be a possibility. But from the looks of it now, that was still very far away. She did not speak. She did not believe him. Wang Feng did not need her to believe him. He only needed to shock her. Back then, when your soul entered this sea of reincarnation from another world and reincarnated into the Douluo world, I've been paying attention to you, Shiyu said indifferently, because it has been a long time since a soul from another world entered my world. Do you know who the previous one was? Could it be the Origin Calamity God King? Wang Feng pretended to guess. That's him. Shiyu turned around and walked a few steps. Her figure was graceful, and all of it exuded a peerless charm. But it was only after your soul reincarnated that I paid attention to you for a while. After that, I stopped paying attention, because at that time, you were too weak. Until a few years after you reincarnated, there was a strange energy that blasted into the barrier of the God realm from the outside, and into the world you were in. That was a huge amount of energy and could not be underestimated. However, this energy entered your body. That was the first time you shocked me. She said slowly. Wang Fengxin said, that should be the pandemic tears, right? At that time, the pandemic tears flew in from outer space like an airdrop and accurately hit him. Space airdrop? After that, there were several times when I was awakened by you again and again. Every time, it was an extremely unique energy aura that woke me up. She stopped in her tracks, turned around, and looked at Wang Feng. Although these energy auras were still very weak for the time being, they all exuded extremely strong power, and were not weaker than me. They even had the ability to destroy the God realm. I felt danger, and at that time, I wanted to destroy you. But at that time, you had already attracted the attention of several God Kings. I originally thought that those God Kings should be able to destroy you at that time. But you surprised me again. You triggered the strange energy in your body and forcibly tied with the God Kings. In the end, you were also sealed by the 5 God Kings. From then on, I knew that you were the only 2 variables in the God realm. Perhaps you had a very important role, and destruction was not the only way. More interestingly, after being sealed by the 5 God Kings, I lost your aura. Shiyu's tone fluctuated a little when she said this. She seemed to feel a little incredulous. Just the seal of the 5 God Kings was not enough to make me unable to sense your existence. This disappearance lasted for 10,000 years. In the God realm, a few decades passed. During this period of time that she was talking about, it should be that Wang Feng was fully focused on comprehending the law of life in the pandemic tears, and at the same time, he cultivated the one Shi into 3 pure ones. His soul was erratic, so Shi lost sense of him. And the special energy aura that Shiyu mentioned should be the Pangu Axe and the chaotic green lotus. Even in the form of a martial soul, it was very terrifying. In order to find your aura, I used a strand of hair as the body of my life and personally incarnated into the lower realm. Shiyu looked at Wang Feng. In the end, in the Martial Spirit Federation, in the finals between you and the Silver Dragon, I was completely sure that it was you, because at that time, you used the martial soul that I felt was enough to destroy the God realm. But this should also be your clone, right? This clone of yours does not seem to have those 2 martial souls. Although I don't know what kind of method you used at that time, it was also used in this body. So I exposed myself at that time, Wang Fengxin said. But who the hell would know? Later, I used that identity to let you know about the Dark Demon realm, and originally wanted to guide you to the God realm. But what surprised me was that you could actually come to the God realm by yourself. But you inherited the strength of the Origin Tribulation God King. So all of this was within my calculations. But now that you are here and not dead, it proves that I lost, and also proves that. At this point, Shiyu stopped, her expression still unchanged. Then, Shiyu said something that surprised Wang Feng. You are much more powerful in this life than before. End of chapter. Chapter 1432. Wang Feng was dumbfounded by her words. What did she mean? In this life, could it be that I have a previous life? Shiyu's eyes that seemed to know everything shocked Wang Feng. Wait, that's not right. Wang Feng's mind spun. Although his heart was in turmoil, his face was like the surface of a windless lake, without a single ripple. In this life, he said without changing his expression. That's right. Shiyu nodded. In your previous life, You and I made a bet that you could come here again. And this time, you will take away the Genesis divinity source, change the God realm, change everything. But the premise is that you have to start all over again. Wang Fengxian was shocked. She used words. Could it be that he was the origin tribulation deity king in his previous life? Impossible. The origin tribulation deity king's origin turned into 16 origin sources, 7 in one, forming Dai and another light god. How could he reincarnate to Earth? That doesn't make sense. Wang Feng smelled a hint of conspiracy. Because of this sentence, Wang Fengxian's curiosity was piqued by Shi Yu's words. In terms of momentum, he seemed to be suppressed again. Is that so? Wang Feng pretended to be surprised. Then can I ask a question? Hearing this, although Shi Yu did not smile, there was some certainty in her eyes, as if she expected Wang Feng to ask something. What question? Shi Yu said lightly. In my previous life, Wang Feng paused. Was he as handsome as I am now? Shi Yu's expression was blank, as if she was a little confused by Wang Feng's words. Even a little stuffy. What kind of question was this? Shi Yu had thought that Wang Feng would ask all kinds of questions, but this was really beyond her imagination. If not, then it's definitely not my previous life. Wang Feng said with confidence and certainty. Shi Yu was silent for a long time before she spoke again. Is this what you want to ask? What else? Wang Feng smiled. As for the rest, the bet I made with you in my previous life, you can look for my previous life. What does it have to do with me? She used crystal-like lips moved, but she choked on her words. The change in the atmosphere between the two, especially the initiative, seemed to have returned to Wang Feng's side. Seeing this, Shi Yu sighed and said, You have indeed become stronger. You're the reincarnation of Tribulation Origin Deity King, after all. You saw the Star Soul Road when you came here, so you should know that the Origin Tribulation God King came looking for me in order to change the God world. I told him that he had changed the divine realm too much. The Genesis divine source had long placed him in the category of forbidden life forms. Furthermore, he's an extraterrestrial life form. He wasn't born in the God world, so he wasn't recognized by the Genesis divinity source. At the same time, obtaining the abyss of creation is not enough to change the rules of the God realm. It's not as simple as you think. Although the Origin Tribulation God King was strong enough back then, he was still a creator god, so there were too many restrictions on him. Unless he starts all over again, cleanses his soul, is born in the God world, and becomes even stronger. Only then will he be able to obtain the Genesis divinity source. At this point, Shi Yu paused and said slowly, So, I made a bet with you back then. If he can start all over again, come to the God world, come to this place, and become even stronger than before, I will give you the Genesis divinity source. Thus, he disintegrated and started all over again. The origin energy he cultivated fell to the God world and became another life form. But his soul flew to the universe to be reborn. He is not a life form of the God world. So my reincarnation, cannot allow him to reincarnate. Hearing this, Wang Feng pondered for a long time. If that was the case, it made sense. After the Origin Tribulation God King entered the Star Soul Road, the God world didn't change at all. Instead, he disintegrated. However, Wang Feng faintly felt that something was wrong. No, Wang Feng frowned and said, Since his soul flew to the universe to be reborn, how can you be sure that he's me? Because your soul doesn't belong to the God world. It's from another world. Shi Yu said slowly, The God world is under my control. I have records of the birth of any intelligent life form. Since the Origin Tribulation God King said he wanted to return, then it can only be you. Why can't it be Tang San? Wang Feng asked. Tang San, huh? A strange smile appeared on Shi Yu's face. He was an accident. Do you know why his soul came to this world only half a beat later than yours? Even the location of his transmigration was almost exactly the same as yours. Was it all in that small village? Could it be that it's because my soul transmigrated? It caused some reaction in the Douluo world, causing the soul of Tang San, who jumped off the cliff, to also transmigrate? Wang Feng said. You can understand it that way. Shiyu nodded slightly. Your soul transmigrated into the Douluo world to be reborn, causing ripples in my reincarnation sea. At the same time, the location of your soul transmigrated to was the Douluo world. Shiyu looked around the golden sea, pointed at a certain place, and said indifferently, "It's here." When your soul entered the Douluo world, there was a fault at this location. Not only did it attract my attention, the fault will also affect the reincarnation of other worlds. It will cause other souls to have accidents and enter the reincarnation sea of the God world. Your soul was the first to arrive, which means that you are the only one who can be the Origin Tribulation God King. And you also inherited the power of the Origin Tribulation God King. When you were in the illusion of the angel God, do you know why he helped you? He let you control the 7 light origins? Do you think he thinks highly of you? That's not it. And because he knows that only the real Origin Tribulation God King can comprehend those 7 origins, the angel God is a life form formed by the Origin Tribulation God King's origin power. So he is naturally very sensitive to the Origin Tribulation God King. And Demon God Dai. Do you know why Demon God Dai planned for countless years to let you enter this place again? It's because he has been waiting for the return of the Origin Tribulation God King, to let the reincarnation of the Origin Tribulation God King enter this place again. You inherited the power of the Origin Tribulation God King, so you could touch his demonic body and come here. And Demon God Dai not only inherited part of the Origin Tribulation God King's origin power, but also the temperament of this origin power. He actually represents the other side of the Origin Tribulation God King that the God world doesn't know about. Wisdom, ambition, arrogance. After hearing this, Wang Feng felt that he had no choice but to believe it. Am I really the reincarnation of the Origin Tribulation God King? Wang Fengxin thought. Shiyu's words were too convincing. Even the details, such as the words that Demon God Dai said in Wang Feng's mind, almost all of them matched. Because according to Shiyu's words, Demon God Dai's words would make sense. But was it really? For a moment, Wang Feng fell into deep thought. He vaguely knew the purpose of Shiyu telling him this. It was definitely not a good thing. One had to know that Wang Feng came to the God world to find a few confidants and ensure that they were fine. In the end, it turned out that he was going to change the rules of the God world. Wang Feng felt that she was still hiding something from him. End of chapter. Chapter 1433. Looks like you still don't believe me. Shiyu saw that Wang Feng was wavering, and her eyes became more certain. You can ask whatever you want. I will answer all of them. Wang Feng didn't ask. He knew that Shiyu had given the perfect answer to any question he asked. There was no point in asking this. If you don't ask, then I will continue. As if she had caught the reason for Wang Feng's silence, Shiyu continued. Your soul entered the God realm's sea of reincarnation to reincarnate, which means that you belong to the God realm and have been recognized by the Genesis Mana. Only then are you qualified to become the controller of the Genesis Mana. Secondly, I naturally wouldn't let Origin Tribulation Divine King come here so easily. After all, this is actually another test for you. In your previous life, you were innately powerful. Even without much cultivation, you could easily surpass the Divine King. For you, there's nothing difficult at all, until you encountered a problem related to the fate of the God realm that you couldn't solve by yourself. So as Origin Tribulation, you didn't hesitate to make a bet with me. At the same time, you thought that you were not born strong, but you could still easily reach this step. And I thought that you couldn't. You were not convinced, so you didn't hesitate to make a bet with me. You want to change the rules of the God realm. But at that time, you were not my opponent and couldn't get my recognition. You were not convinced, so you didn't hesitate to make a bet with me. I even told you that as long as you could destroy the Dark Demon World and find the Dark Demon World's Genesis Mana, I could make an exception and let you control the Genesis Mana. But you thought that I was using you, and you were proud and unwilling, so you made a bet with me. She seemed to have recreated the situation where Origin Tribulation Divine King was here. After the bet was established, I sealed the Star Spirit Road so that the Divine King couldn't contact here, let alone come in. At the same time, I secretly left only a slim chance. And then I didn't make any changes. Shiyu's tone was full of admiration. But at that time, you were also very cunning. You knew that after the bet started, I wouldn't let you enter the Star Spirit Road so easily. So when you disintegrated, you were scheming. When you disintegrated, you couldn't control the life formed from your own origin. You couldn't have any memories, hints, and so on. That's because I'll be able to detect it, and that's a violation of the bet. However, the reason why you were so cunning back then was because you knew that you put the dark side origin power of your 16 different origins together. A life formed in this way must have a part of your temperament. And if he had a part of your temperament, he would definitely discover the problem in the God realm and walk the same path as him. This life form is the Emperor. Di's appearance, his growth, and his final outcome were all within the calculations of your origin tribulation. Because you understand yourself, even if Di knows that he is transformed from the origin tribulation God King, he will still reach that step without any memories of the origin tribulation God King. He will definitely find the way to me. Then, you can use it as a stepping stone for your own reincarnation. Hearing this, Wang Feng felt his scalp tingle. Was this origin tribulation God King really that awesome? Look at how the other party had reincarnated and started from scratch. The crucial threshold had been paved. Could it be that even the system was a trap left behind by the origin tribulation God King? That's impossible, right? The origin tribulation God King could give me the chaotic Green Lotus and Pengu Axe martial spirits, the one chi into 3 pure one's divine ability, and even a 9-word secret of shrouding heaven. He could easily affect the course of the world. So awesome. What kind of existence is he? Wang Feng felt that it was impossible. But when he thought about how the origin tribulation God King came from outside the God realm, it seemed that he wasn't a life form of the God realm. Perhaps he came to the God realm for a vacation. Conveniently solve some of the local difficult and complicated diseases? In the end, he encountered a tough nut like Shiyu and couldn't conquer. No, he couldn't solve it. This made the origin tribulation God King very unhappy. Could it be that a series of subsequent events happened? Damn it. The more Wang Feng thought about it, the more he felt that it was a bit amazing. If the system was a trap set up by the origin tribulation God King, Wang Feng could only admire it, because it seemed that Shiyu didn't notice the existence of the system. In short, Wang Feng's mind was not calm. Hearing too many shocking secrets made Wang Feng's head buzzing. After thinking for a long time, Wang Feng said, "Then I'm here now." "Yes, you're here again, but you've only completed half of the bet. You schemed too much in your past life. Even if you were to wash away everything and reincarnate without any memories of your past life, you would still be able to reach your current level. Your potential is much more terrifying than in your past life. But now, you're still not strong enough." Shiyu smiled. Wang Feng didn't know that after hearing these words, he had subconsciously acknowledged the existence of the bet. Moreover, he had subconsciously accepted the bet. Wang Feng, however, was a little convinced. There were too many details in this, and there was no mistake at all. It made perfect sense. Wang Feng didn't refute Shiyu's words. He was indeed not strong enough now, but if he was given a little more time, the situation would be different. Once he comprehended the middle part of the one spirit into 3 pure ones, or obtained the lower part, and obtained the complete one spirit into 3 pure ones, even if he didn't have a third clone. Wang Feng could also merge with his clone and his main body, and his strength would reach a new and terrifying level. It just needed time. I know that you came to the God realm to find your confidant in this life. Heh, you're much more affectionate in this life than in your previous life. Shiyu said slowly, so you'll definitely go to the dark demon realm. Then, since you're here, the bet is half done. I can make an exception and propose the proposal that you rejected back then. As long as you find the dark demon realm's Genesis devil source, you can control the Genesis divine source. Genesis devil source, an existence like you? Wang Feng frowned slightly. What makes you think that I'll agree to it now? Because you're different from your previous life, and your situation is different. Shiyu smiled slightly. If you weren't the reincarnation of divine king origin tribulation, even if you came here by coincidence, I wouldn't make any bet with you. Because you're not strong enough, I'll only beat you down. And what's the situation below? You should know better than anyone. Wang Fengxian thought that she was right. He would indeed go to the dark demon realm. His situation will be different. All right, I agree. Wang Feng pretended to sigh. Since it's a bet left behind by my previous life, I'll accept it. However, finding the Genesis Devil Source is just a matter of convenience to me. I actually don't have any thoughts about the Genesis Divine Source. Oh, she nodded without any change in her expression. She naturally thought that Wang Feng was quibbling. One more question. Wang Feng suddenly said, "You're the Genesis Divine Source, right? You can think of it that way." She nodded. Controlling the Genesis Divine Source means controlling you? Wang Feng asked again. She didn't know what Wang Feng wanted to say. She thought for a few seconds and nodded. Then you could do anything I ask you to do? Wang Feng's face suddenly revealed a smile. She was stunned. What did he mean? That smile on Wang Feng's face looked very profound and very somewhat annoying. Can you give me an advance? Wang Feng's smile grew brighter. No. She took 2 steps back and shook her head. Then I won't accept the bet. Kill me. Wang Feng yawned. At most, I'll reincarnate again. You. She was rarely speechless by Wang Feng. Vaguely, she felt that the other party seemed to understand something. What do you want me to do? Shiyu frowned. Wang Feng walked in front of Shiyu and whispered a few words. After listening, Shiyu was stunned for a moment. That's it? That's it. Is it difficult? Is it not difficult? It seemed that I thought too much. All right. In that case, I'll send you down first. Shiyu said expressionlessly. She waved her hand and opened the Star Soul Road. Wang Feng waved his hand at Shiyu and jumped down. Shiyu looked at the Star Soul Road and was speechless for a long time. After a long time, a smile appeared on her face. She murmured in a low voice, causing ripples in the golden sea. I've finally scared you, Star Soul Road. Wang Feng sank rapidly as if he was passing through space. He looked back at the sky and relaxed. Shiyu, your script is well written. There are no flaws in my performance. Next, I don't know if I'm going to be in your sea or you're going to be dancing in my palm. But now, Shang Demon God, I'm going to scare you until you pee your pants. Chapter 1434. In the blood tomb of the buried gods in the void domain, Demon God Shang looked gloomily at the spot where the light pillar disappeared. Demon God Shang knew that Dai must have gone to the other side of the light pillar through some kind of tunnel, and the origin star core must be there. What happened just now? It was as if something had happened to Dai Demon God's body. Damn it, what on earth did D.E. this fellow do in this place? He has been dead for so many years. Could he have predicted what would happen after so many years? The more Demon God Shang thought about it, the angrier he got. He looked at Tang San and the remaining 30 demon kings. Their angry expressions meant that he did not have much patience. That was the origin star core. Tang San, what happened just now? Didn't you say that you need to sacrifice a powerful god to open the tunnel to the origin star core? Did you lie to me? Demon God Shang slowly flew in front of Tang San with a cold expression. I can't kill you here, but it doesn't mean that I can't deal with your wife and unborn child. The killing intent in his eyes was very deep. The body of a god king was restricted by the rules of the divine world. It was immortal in the divine world. If he wanted to kill Tang San, he had to break the rules of the divine world or obtain the origin star core. Only then could he destroy a being at the God King level. However, he was Demon God Shang, the supreme demon god of the dark demon realm. He had many means. Third brother. Xiao Wu pursed her lips and suddenly said with a smile, since this demon god Shang is so curious, why didn't third brother tell him everything? Tang San's eyes were filled with deep meaning as he looked at the horizon that had already disappeared. Then he smiled. Shang Mingyang, I lied to you just now. Hearing this, Demon God Shang raised his bloody eyebrows. Then Tang San continued, most of it is true. Most of it is true. The key is that the condition to open the passage is actually a little more difficult. It requires the body of a god king to be buried here and the soul to return to the origin star core. Otherwise, everything will be for naught. Hearing this, the cunning demon god Shang immediately understood what had happened. Are you saying that it was Dai demon god's body that opened the passage? That's not right. Dai has been dead for so many years. Logically speaking, his soul should be gone long ago. How could he open a passage? Wait, you mean that demon god Dai's soul hasn't completely disappeared, but it has always been left in that demon body? Demon god Shang's eyes widened. That's right, Tang San said lightly. You've been tricked. Di is from my god realm, although only the god king knows this news. However, he was an extremely rebellious person in the god realm, so it was unknown where he had found out about this. Therefore, when he had fallen in the god realm, he had been planning to use his impending death to leave behind a remnant soul in his devil body. Countless years later, when he had returned, or when his descendants had inherited his power, they would be able to open a passage, enter the Star Spirit Road, and find the Star Source Core. Now that you mention it, it's interesting. If you don't use your origin power to awaken his demonic body, he won't be able to do anything. The remnant soul of his devil body might not wake up. There is only one possibility for a wisp of remnant soul to remain until now. Most of the time, he would be in a deep slumber, unconscious slumber. Speaking of this, Tang San looked at demon god Shang with a sneer on his face. You've worked so hard, but you've only become a dowry for someone else. How pitiful. What's even more pitiful is that you've been played by demon god Dai, who had been dead for countless years. Tang San's sneer did not anger demon god Shang. Although demon god Shang was very angry, he had been through countless years and would not be easily angered. In fact, that was indeed the case. Wang Feng might not be able to find the body of demon god Dai. Even if he could find it, he might not be able to awaken the remnant soul in the body because he was not strong enough. However, demon god Shang had used his demon spirit origin to awaken the remnant soul in demon god Dai, thus sensing Wang Feng's existence. Demon god Shang held it in for a long time before he said fiercely, "What a Dai!" Suddenly, he looked at Tang San, and his expression calmed down. He said indifferently, "Back then, demon god died in the void dimension. You god kings buried him here. At that time, there shouldn't have been such a passage, right? But now it has appeared. This means that you god kings were also deceived by demon god Dai. You god world are indeed a bunch of idiots." Sorry, I wasn't a god king at that time, and I didn't participate in that war. Tang San smiled. So it was the other god kings who were deceived. It had nothing to do with me. He was not provoked by demon god Shang's words at all. Xiao Wu poked Tang San. Third brother's face had become much thicker these years. Is that so? Demon god Shang raised his eyelids. It's strange. Demon god Dai deceived you, and now he has found the origin star core alone. As a god king of the God World Committee, you don't seem to be nervous at all. Although demon god Dai and my main body are fighting, they are both from the dark demon world. If he obtains the origin star core, your god world will be the first to suffer. Maybe you won't even be forced back to the dark demon world. Tang San smiled when he heard this and said, "What do I have to worry about? Do you know what the origin star core is? It's the god world's genesis divine source. Your dark demon world also has something similar, right? Although our god world has weakened a lot in recent years, and the Genesis divine source has also weakened a lot, if you think a mere demon god can control it, then it's ridiculous. That's too laughable. Not to mention demon god Dai. Even if you demon god Shang go, the only outcome is death." According to the information that Tang San had obtained, he was not lying at all. Demon god Dai has been planning for so many years. So what if he goes to that place? In the end, it's all for naught. Shang Mingyang, let me tell you the truth. If you want to obtain the Genesis divine source, your strength must surpass the ceiling of your dark demon world and transcend your own world. Otherwise, it's impossible. At this point, Tang San laughed coldly. Demon god Shang felt that what the other party said was true. If that was the case, it was good news and bad news. Fortunately, It was impossible for Dai to obtain the origin star core, so it could be considered as removing a big problem. The bad news was that he could not obtain the origin star core, so it was a pity that when he returned to the dark demon world, he would not be able to please Yamalord. I don't believe it. Demon God Shang sneered. What if Dai, that bastard, is a spy that your god world planted in our dark demon world? Anyway, only the gods of your god world know what happened back then. You can make up whatever you want. I can't prove that you deliberately put on a show just now. Also, that Dai came to me and asked for you. Maybe you have already secretly colluded with him? If I don't vent the hatred in my heart today, I will not leave the dark demon world. End of chapter. Chapter 1435. Demon God Shang's gaze fell on Xiao Wu, especially the child in her belly. Tang San was shocked. What was wrong with Demon God Shang's brain? How could he be a spy of the divine world with Di Ye's personality? Tang San had never thought that Demon God Shang would be so afraid of Di Yi that he would not hesitate to let his imagination run wild and say such a ridiculous guess. He even wanted to attack. Wait! At this moment, Xiao Wu suddenly said, "Third brother is not lying to you. It is impossible for Di Yi to be a spy of the divine world. Moreover, he will definitely die up there. Let me ask you, have you heard of our divine world's origin tribulation divine king?" Demon God Shang was walking toward Xiao Wu step by step. When he heard Xiao Wu's words, he was immediately stunned. Origin tribulation? Demon God Shang clenched his fists. Mother of Asterisk Her, he had heard of more than that. He had even seen it when the dark demon world invaded the divine world. He had almost died from a casual attack from Origin Tribulation Divine King. After countless years, he had vaguely heard that Origin Tribulation Divine King had inexplicably fallen in the divine world. At that time, Demon God Shang had been excited for God knows how many years. He had even used this excitement to clear his mind and become a demon god in one go. What does Origin Tribulation have to do with this? Demon God Shang said coldly, "Don't even think about lying to me. Of course, it has something to do with it." Xiao Wu and Tang Sen looked at each other and continued. "Let me tell you a secret of the divine world. Do you know how the most powerful and mysterious Origin Tribulation Divine King, who was not in the divine world's committee but was unfathomably powerful, died?" Demon God Shang frowned and said, "Are you trying to tell me that Origin Tribulation Divine King wanted to obtain the Origin Star Core because he found it? In the end, he fell?" "That's right." Xiao Wu clapped her hands. "That's how Origin Tribulation Divine King fell. How powerful was he back then? He was unable to control the Origin Star Core and could only fall. Think about it. Di was just a life form formed by Origin Tribulation Divine King's origin. How could he control the Origin Star Core? Even though he has been scheming for countless years and is extremely intelligent, it is a pity that the Genesis Divinity Source is not something a God King can control. This is a secret of the God Realm. If you don't believe me, you can send a message back to the Dark Devil world. The other God Kings are also in your hands. Their story will definitely be the same as ours. Do you believe me now? So my third brother didn't lie to you." The credibility of this statement was quite high. Demon God Shang was somewhat convinced. "All right, I'll wait here. If Di doesn't die, I guarantee that the child in your stomach will never be born." Demon God Shang sneered. "If you're really dead, I'll spare your life for now." Tang San and Xiao Wu looked at each other again and said nothing. In fact, that was exactly what they thought. Even Shang Demon God heaved a sigh of relief after hearing Xiao Wu's words. On the other hand, the other demon monarchs not far away from Tang San were deathly pale. In just a moment, a golden light suddenly appeared in the sky and turned into a long pillar. It descended from the sky like a great Tao. Many demon monarchs looked at the light pillar. Countless pairs of eyes focused on it, and their minds were extremely tense. Right at this moment, a long howl suddenly resounded from within the golden pillar. "Shang Mingyang, do you still remember this king?" As soon as the voice fell, Shang Mingyang's body shook. His huge and majestic demonic body actually trembled. It was as if he had heard a voice that could shake his soul. As the golden pillar descended, a figure that was riding on the rainbow, light appeared in front of countless people's eyes. The gloomy sky dispersed, as if it was celebrating this figure's birthday. His entire body was covered in rays of light that contained mysterious origins. If one were to count them carefully, there were a total of 7 rays that completely enveloped his figure. An aura that could shake the heavens and earth was suppressed by this figure. The entire void domain seemed to be on the verge of breaking, as if it could not withstand this power. You are origin, tribulation, God, King. Demon God Shang seemed to have lost his mind as he looked at the figure that made the heavens and earth submit to him. Even after tens of thousands of years, he still did not forget. It's too terrifying. This aura, this figure, this aura that could shatter the heavens and earth the moment he appeared, the scenes of the past still appeared in front of his eyes. Isn't he dead? Looking at the origin tribulation divine king in front of him, Demon God Shang's mind went blank. There was only deep fear. Under such circumstances, he seemed to have become the most basic mammal. He only felt fear and panic, as if he was facing a natural enemy. Not only him, even Tang San and Xiao Wu were dumbfounded. My origin tribulation divine king? Xiao was also a little confused. Just now they said that he was dead. What's going on? This Tang San focused and sensed. He found that whether it was the aura or the strange phenomenon caused by this figure, they were all real. Is this really origin tribulation divine king? He's not dead. Tang San was also a little dumbfounded. He believed that even if the other divine kings were here, they would also be confused. This was too unbelievable. Demon God Shang seemed to be unable to hold back and let out a scream of horror. His body burst out with a burst of intense light. A black blood light directly shot out from his body. It was as if he had used an ultimate forbidden technique. In an instant, he tore through the void, leaving behind a black bloodline as he fled. Tang San and Xiao Wu looked at each other. Neither of them had expected this to happen. Origin Tribulation Divine King was indeed awesome. He could scare Demon God Shang to the point of wetting his pants with just one sentence. As soon as Demon God Shang left, all the devil bodies fell from the sky and lost their consciousness. Tang San and Xiao Wu believed that Demon God Shang must have used some forbidden technique. The price must be very high. Otherwise, it was impossible for him to disappear from the void domain in an instant. The golden light was resplendent and formed a long river. That extremely dazzling figure stepped on the long river and slowly descended, full of vigor. Third brother, what should we do? Xiao was a little excited. This is the real origin tribulation divine king. How could he not die? I remember that Brother Feng is down there. Isn't he trying to comprehend his power? Logically speaking, since Brother Feng has inherited the power of origin tribulation divine king, the original body of origin tribulation divine king should have disappeared. However, the scene in front of them was incomparably real. No, not necessarily. Tang San shook his head and said, Brother Feng has also inherited the power of Demon God Dai. However, Demon God Dai is not dead. Instead, he is still alive. Inheriting their power doesn't mean that they will die. It's just passing on their own power. Azura Divine King's inheritance is mine, including his origin energy. However, he is not dead. He might be the real origin tribulation divine king. However, I'm afraid that he didn't die like those other divine kings. Tang San thought of a possibility. No matter what, origin tribulation divine king is still friendly to our divine world. At this moment, the figure also descended. This aura, it's the aura of the heavenly Tao. Tang San immediately sensed it. It was the divine world's Tian. Could it be that origin tribulation divine king has really controlled the Genesis divine source? Tang San was extremely shocked. Otherwise, how could this aura be so terrifying? Moreover, there were 7 different origin auras surrounding the other party. They were incomparably dense. Even if it was right in front of them, they could only see a towering figure. They couldn't see anything else. It was isolated. Tang San was even more shocked. His divine consciousness was isolated in the divine world, although it was restricted a lot because he had some magical machines from the dark demon world on him, and he was also injured. However, it was impossible for it to be completely isolated. This meant that the strength of the other party was beyond imagination. Divine World's Azura, Divine, King Tang, San greets Origin. Origin Tribulation Divine, King. Tang, San hurriedly pulled Xiao Wu to the front of the figure and said respectfully, Origin Tribulation Divine King had a very high status in the divine world. However, very few gods knew about him. From a moment this divine king appeared in the history of the divine world, he had been extremely low-key. He didn't even join the divine world committee. There's no need to say anymore. Tang San and Xiao Wu, the two of you share the same deity position. You're the only ones who can inherit the position of deity king. I've already known about you through the Genesis divine source. Origin Tribulation Divine King's voice was like the sound of the heavens. It shocked Tang San and Xiao Wu. You. Xiao Wu looked at him a few times. Are you really Origin Tribulation Divine King? She had too many questions. Origin Tribulation is just a thing of the past. If you think I am, then I am. If you think I am not, then I am not. Origin Tribulation Divine King said slowly. Xiao Wu felt a sense of familiarity when she heard these mysterious words. These words are so mysterious and profound. Brother Feng should be very familiar with these words. Xiao Wu thought. Both of them were silent. They were thinking about how to speak. Origin Tribulation Divine King looked at the two of them and thought, Sia is not bad, as expected of a Genesis source. She is also very familiar with Origin Tribulation Divine King. She has perfectly created a set of Origin Tribulation Divine King skin according to my request. Even if it is just a simulation, it can even intimidate a divine king in the divine world. End of chapter. Chapter 1436. The Origin Tribulation Divine King in front of them was naturally not the real one. Wang Feng asked Shiyu to do it. He asked Shiyu to use her Genesis source energy to create the unique aura and vision of the Origin Tribulation Divine King. Therefore, what Demon God Shang and Tang San saw was real, but it was only the appearance and aura. In reality, it was naturally not the real Origin Tribulation Divine King. It was a set of Origin Tribulation Divine King skin. Only Shiyu could change it at will, and it was only limited to the divine world. Once it left the divine world or the plane it belonged to, the skin would disappear and reveal its true form. It could only be used to scare people. However, Wang Feng had seen the Origin Tribulation Divine King in the divine world in the Star Soul Road, so he naturally knew the Origin Tribulation Divine King very well. In addition, Wang Feng had inherited the Origin Tribulation Divine King's power. With this set of skin, he could pass for the real one, unless Demon God Shang attacked directly. But if he attacked, he would be exposed because Wang Feng did not have the Origin Tribulation Divine King's true ability. Unfortunately, Demon God Shang, who was almost killed by the Origin Tribulation Divine King, was really scared out of his wits. Not to mention attacking, he did not even dare to say a few words before he used a forbidden technique to escape. Actually, if Wang Feng turned into someone else, it would not have such an effect, except for the Origin Tribulation Divine King. However, Demon God Shang had left a huge shadow in his heart in the two wars between the Dark Demon World and the Divine World, so he did not even think. In comparison, the more Tang San and Xiao Wu thought about this Divine King Origin Tribulation, the more their heads swelled. But it was a good thing. It was just too shocking. Then are you, or are you not? Xiao Wu had a headache thinking. Xiao Wu, Tang San coughed a few times. Look at how Demon God Shang fled. You know it must be real. Makes sense. Xiao Wu nodded, then suddenly thought of something. Oh right, if you are the Origin Tribulation Divine King, why haven't you appeared all these years? Are they all controlling the Genesis Divine Source? Of course, Wang Feng said with an unfathomable expression. To control the Genesis Divine Source, one needs a long time to gain its recognition. My true self also spent a long time to barely gain the Genesis divine source's recognition. It was just that he did not expect that the divine world would be attacked by the dark devil world again. Right now, the God realm is about to change, and this noble one has barely grasped the creation divine origin. Even if I am unable to change the God realm, I cannot allow this world to be taken over by the dark devil realm. After all, this is the world where I rest and recuperate. How can I allow other living beings to disturb me? Tang San and Little Wu heaved a sigh of relief. From the looks of it, Origin Tribulation God King's return this time was definitely for the matter of the Dark Devil world. By the way, Origin Tribulation Senior, a demon god from the Dark Devil world, went up just now. Do you know about it? Tang Sin suddenly asked. Moreover, this demon god is the life form of your death. No, it's the life form of your origin. After that, he betrayed the god realm and became the devil god of the Dark Devil world. Wang Feng had long thought of this problem. You're talking about D, right? Wang Feng revealed a mysterious smile. Within the light of the 7 light sources, Tang San and Little Wu could not see his smile. However, they could hear the calm and composed tone of this Origin Tribulation God King. When I first saw the creation divine origin, I learned that in order to control this item, one must completely disperse one's origin and start from scratch. After tens of thousands of years, only then can one obtain the approval of the creation divine origin. Therefore, I transformed my own origin into 2 different life forms and casually placed them in your divine world committee. They were treated as 2 crucial chess pieces, and Di was one of them. Wang Feng turned around and looked at the cloud-filled sky. His tone carried a majestic aura as if he was looking down on the universe, and Di's betrayal of the divine world was all within my expectations. In fact, Di was a chess piece that this noble one left in the Dark Devil world. Only when the divine world was in danger would he enter the Star Soul Road and come to see me. So, you don't have to panic. I have already ordered him to return to the Dark Devil world and wait for orders. You can treat him as a spy that this noble one placed in the Dark Devil world. After hearing this, Tang San and Xiao Wu were both petrified on the spot. Countless crows flew past their hearts. F*CK. Shang Devil God actually said it blindly. Demon God, D, you is really a spy of the divine world? Only this noble one knows about this matter. The 2 of you don't have to spread it. Wang Feng instructed. Tang San and Xiao Wu looked at each other and hurriedly nodded. This was a shocking secret. This Origin Tribulation God King was too terrifying. Then, what should we do next? Tang Sin asked cautiously. Wait, Wang Feng said slowly. I have just gained control of the creation divine origin. My compatibility is not high enough, and my strength is not stable. Moreover, there are many things that need to be done in the divine world. Not long after, the news of this noble one's return will be known by the Dark Devil world. With this noble one's prestige, the Dark Devil world might not have any news about this for the time being. But we cannot underestimate it, because the Dark Devil world has become much stronger these few years. It is very likely that an existence with the same strength as me has been born. The most important thing is that the Dark Devil world's top demon god, demon lord, or demon monarch are far stronger than the divine world. The Dark Devil world will be quiet for a while at most, and then they will attack here. The divine world needs to open the channel to the subordinate planes and take in new gods to replenish their strength. Simply put, the divine world needs to develop. Otherwise, the Origin Tribulation God King alone would not be able to do anything. Wang Feng estimated that even if the real Origin Tribulation God King was reborn, it would be useless against the Dark Devil world now. The channel was sealed by the Dark Devil world. Tang Sin was silent for a long time. It is the outer realm seal. They may indeed have an existence at the same level as you. They spent a lot of effort and used a supreme method to seal the channel between the divine world and other worlds. It directly weakened our divine world. Wang Fengxin said, "Of course I know this. Why did she want me to go to the Dark Devil world to find the creation divine origin? Very simple. Shiyu's own strength was reduced as the divine world was sealed. In other words, the dark devil world's creation devil source was stronger than hers. Naturally, they could seal all the channels to the divine world. Even if Shiyu could barely open 1 or 2 channels, it would not have any substantial effect. So Shiyu wanted him to go to the dark devil world to find the creation devil source. Only then could he open the seal of those channels. Simply put, he was going to steal. I have my ways to open the channel. Now we need to stabilize the divine world. The Origin Tribulation God King said slowly, once the dark devil world cannot hold back in attacks, although I can block it, it is far from possible for the divine world to recover. But now I am the only God King left. Tang San sighed softly. No, I have a more suitable candidate. The Origin Tribulation God King's voice was calm. Dai has already found a peerless genius in the lower realm who has completely inherited and comprehended all of my power. With him, the divine world can be rebuilt, it can stabilize the world, and it can level the heavens. Chapter 1437. Tang San. The peerless genius you're talking about. Xiao Wu interrupted. Could it be Brother Feng? You know him too? That's right, it's him. Wang Feng said. Dai has already told me everything about this kid. After hearing it, I was deeply shocked. I won't say anything unnecessary. In a few months at most, I will use the Genesis Divine Source to forcefully open the passage to the Douluo Divine World and bring him up first. I think with his strength, he will definitely be able to protect the Divine World. Moreover, this kid's thoughts are far-reaching and novel. Maybe he will bring new changes to the Divine World. Wang Feng once again boasted about his ability in traditional arts and the need for follow-up. Tang San and Xiao Wu were even more shocked when they heard that the dignified Origin Tribulation Divine King thought so highly of Brother Feng. All right, that's all. I'll return to the Star Soul Road first. Don't worry, if there's any trouble in the Divine World, we won't be able to escape. Origin Tribulation Divine King glanced at Tang San and Xiao Wu. You two return to the Divine World first after a while. All right, as for these demon monarchs, although they are all soul demons of the Dark Demon World, they're all Dai subordinates. Although they have fainted now, they are still useful. Dai will bring them back to the Dark Demon World. Don't blame him. The other 30 demon monarchs were even worse than Shang Demon God when Origin Tribulation Divine King appeared. They were directly intimidated by this aura and were all scared silly. In addition, Origin Tribulation Divine King communicated with Tang San and Xiao Wu through spiritual consciousness. Even if there was a voice, they couldn't hear anything. Understood. Tang San and Xiao Wu immediately nodded. Then, Wang Feng flew into the sky and disappeared into the boundless sky. Tang San and Xiao Wu suddenly came back to their senses. Looking at the remnant vision in the sky, it was as if they were dreaming. Third brother, let's return to the divine world first. Xiao Wu whispered. Origin Tribulation Divine King is very important. Let's return to the divine world first. No hurry. Let's go to the central nether realm first and bury those gods of the divine world. It will take some time to undo the god-slaying ring. It should take some time for Dai to evacuate. Tang San's eyes flashed. Right now, the king city of the divine realm should be Di's subordinates. If we return now, it will be easy to arouse suspicion. Origin Tribulation Divine King didn't say so. We need to consider it carefully to avoid any unexpected changes. Moreover, if the bodies of the warriors in the central nether realm are not buried, it is inevitable that the demon gods in the dark demon realm will use those evil origins to cause us more trouble. Xiao Wu was enlightened and immediately headed to the central nether realm with Tang San. When these demon monarchs woke up, their expressions changed greatly. Demon Monarch Basya was the first to speak. Your Honor, this is not good. Do you know? That Origin Tribulation God King was actually alive. Moreover, according to Divine King Tang San, this Origin Tribulation Divine King had died because he went looking for the Origin Star Core. As he spoke, Demon Monarch Ba Xia suddenly froze. It suddenly occurred to him that died demon god was a life form formed after the fall of origin tribulation deity king. Of course I found it, Wang Feng said coldly. Unfortunately, the origin tribulation divine king got the origin star core in advance. I was halfway through the star soul path when I realized something was wrong. I fled immediately. I was just a life form of origin tribulation divine king. But the funny thing is, origin tribulation divine king was willing to destroy his own cultivation source in order to get the origin star core. That's how I came to be. To put it bluntly, I was abandoned by origin tribulation divine king. Wang Feng's expression was cold and full of disdain. The demon lords suddenly understood. They were still a little doubtful. They thought it was ridiculous when demon god Shang said Dai was a spy. But when they saw that origin tribulation divine king was still alive, they were a little doubtful. From the looks of it, it was simply impossible. Also, do you know that origin tribulation divine king is alive? But he didn't do anything? He even let demon god Shang escape? You didn't die? Wang Feng sneered. That's because although origin tribulation divine king got the genesis divine source of the god world, the god world is now very weak. He spent a lot of effort and tens of thousands of years to get the genesis divine source, but it didn't help him at all. Instead, it made origin tribulation divine king's strength drop sharply. Once he makes a move, it will definitely increase the consumption of the genesis divine source. That's why he only showed up but didn't make a move. He didn't even make a move because he didn't want to waste even the slightest bit of energy. Speaking of this, Wang Feng, who was Dai, looked arrogant. Origin tribulation divine king appeared this time because he knew that we wouldn't dare to touch the god world after knowing that he was alive. Let the god world breathe. But I saw this flaw. Let's go. Let's go back to the dark demon world with me and gather the soul demons who believe in me. We'll deal a fatal blow to the god world. I'm still not strong enough. Even if origin tribulation divine king is weakened, I can't defeat him. I used to be his origin, so I know a little about him. If I provoke him, it won't be good. Wang Feng's eloquent words immediately awakened the many demon monarchs. So that's how it is. No wonder the origin tribulation divine king, an ancient peerless expert of the god world, wouldn't let them go. What about divine King Tang, San, and his wife? Demon monarch Ba Xia asked in a low voice. Don't worry about them. They are still imprisoned by the god-slaying ring of our dark demon world. Although they ran away, it will take some time to break the god-slaying ring. They definitely didn't return to the divine world's royal city. We'll go there first, bring back the rest of the army, and return to the dark demon world immediately. Wang Feng said decisively. The demon monarchs nodded. Since origin tribulation divine king appeared, they were lucky enough to survive. Of course, they wouldn't stay here. As his honor said, even if origin tribulation divine king's strength was weakened, he wasn't someone they could fight. After saying that, Wang Feng immediately led the demon monarchs back to the divine world's royal city. He glanced at another location from the corner of his eyes. That was where the silver dragon was. The silver dragon had been secretly recuperating since Wang Feng and Shang demon god's outbreak. She didn't do anything. Even if the situation changed, she didn't say anything. Even when origin tribulation divine king appeared, the silver dragon didn't do anything. Until Wang Feng left. This divine world is getting more and more interesting. The silver dragon looked at the direction Wang Feng left. The fallen origin tribulation divine king and died demon god appeared one by one. Moreover, that died demon god is really strange. It was strange because the silver dragon king sensed a familiar aura. It was very faint. It was a familiar aura brought by the life-soul contract imprinted in the depths of her soul. However, the life-soul contract had little restriction on her. This kind of soul contract could only be restricted in the Douluo world. It had little effect on a life form like her. Moreover, after entering the divine world, the rules were different. The effect of the life-soul contract was getting smaller and smaller. Moreover, I was familiar with the power he used before. Could he be Wang Feng? But how did Wang Feng become like this? The silver dragon didn't understand. But now, the silver dragon had her own plans. This place, the void dimension, the silver dragon looked at the big world. It's not a good place for the gods of the divine world or the soul demons of the dark demon realm. But for soul beasts, it's a treasure land. When Shang demon god summoned those demon bodies, I sensed the dragon god's body. The history of the void dimension was the place where the dragon god rose to power. After the dragon god was defeated, this place was abandoned and became an extremely dangerous battlefield. This was also why the silver dragon, Long Xie, and Lin Lord Bing Mu were teleported here, because this place was the divine world to them. The Golden Dragon King was also imprisoned here. However, after the divine war broke out, the Golden Dragon King was taken away by the Dark Demon Realm. Moreover, the Dark Demon Realm wanted to find information about the Silver Dragon from the Golden Dragon King. They had other plans. This place was one of the reasons why the Silver Dragon wanted to come to the divine world. Now that the situation has changed, Wang Feng disappeared without a trace. The life-soul contract's effect is small. I can't sense him. If I can find the dragon god's body and cultivate, my strength should reach the limit or even the dragon god. Then I'll have more confidence in dealing with the dark demon realm. The silver dragon looked at the cemetery in the distance. She found Long Xie and Lin Lord Bing Mu. Because the three of them were all soul-bonded beasts, they were teleported here. So, they found each other very early. They just didn't know what to do. Wang Feng's three soul-bonded beasts, led by the silver dragon, had a different encounter in the void dimension. But now, Wang Feng returned to the king city of the divine world and brought the former subordinates of demon god Dai back to the dark demon realm. This will start a new chapter, end of chapter, that you're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.